Welcome back, everyone, to another fantastic podcast that, again, has no spanking of any kind because we are civilized people here. For those who are new to our podcast, we pretty much talk about everything pop culture that ranges from anime, video games, all the way to cosplaying and maybe some other stuff like how I take too long to finish, another yandere story. I am your host, Jaden Day Zero, and joining me is, on this great afternoon, is your co-host, the Lucky Duelist.
Hi, guys. It's me again. I'm sorry, I'm still here.
Oh.
I hope you guys are excited for another in-depth interview. We've got a very special guest this week, so hope you guys enjoy.
And everybody already knows who I am. Because I'm popular.
What if I don't know you?
Oof. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right. For those who don't know me, I do cringy stuff on my YouTube channel, and people call me Jaden Day Zero, or J for short. But yeah, that's. I'm just gonna keep it at that. But today we have a very special guest and a longtime friend with us on the podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Chrissy. I'm also known as Catbat Cosplay. I'm mainly known because I like to cosplay and roll around on Heelys. I'm a huge slushie addict, and that's pretty much it. Also, I crochet sometimes.
Ooh, nice. Didn't know about that.
Where do you get your Heelys from?
Heelys.com.
Okay,
Heelys.com, Ducky.
I don't actually think that's the website, though.
I thought it was like a brand, not an actual shop.
I thought Skechers made those shoes.
No.
I don't know, man.
Oh.
They have their... If you Google Heelys, it'll be like the first website.
Okay.
But yeah. They're still a thing.
Surprisingly, I think you're like the only person I've seen that actually had Heelys, so I don't know. That's probably just me.
I just see an occasional...
I'm pretty sure they got banned around here because someone broke their leg.
Yeah. That's what happened everywhere. But you occasionally see somebody rolling around at an anime convention.
And if you do, it's obviously Chrissy.
Yeah, it's Chrissy with the Heelys.
True. You're not wrong.
So, Chrissy, we have a new thing going on the podcast we're trying to do. Basically, we, either tell a horrible dad joke or maybe do a little anime-related joke or even do a about me question to like break the ice. But I don't know if we need one because we're all familiar with each other. But if you want to take it from here, Ducky.
Okay, so I have 6 questions.
Okay.
Pick a number between 1 and 6.
3.
Okay, if you could have one final meal, what would it be?
This is really easy. A slushie.
Oh my
I
god.
would say that.
I'm not surprised.
I would want it to be like 52-ounce slushie.
Jeez, that's
a big slushie. That's
Well,
like
that's
bigger
what
than a
I
baby.
That's what I normally drink.
wow. That's crazy. So the big question for me to you, Chrissy, why cosplay? Like,
why not? I mean,
you can't just say why not. There has to be a reason. No, Ducky, stop. No, why cosplay? Out of everything in the world, why cosplay? That's a big question.
It's a hard question to answer, but I'll try my best. Okay, so I guess it kind of goes with, I really like anime girls. I think they're so adorable. And I don't know, there's something about like doing all the crazy makeup, styling the wig, like making the costume or like buying the costume and altering it that I just really enjoy. It's just something that I feel like, especially because I grew up cosplaying, I felt like it was just something that I really, like, it just brought a lot of joy to my life, and it's something I'm really passionate about. Maybe that's why I cosplay.
So it's just something that you're, like, really passionate about and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just like something that, like, if I'm having a rough day and I cosplay, I normally tend to have, a way better mood afterwards, or I just feel like my day's a lot better. So it brings me a lot of joy.
Well, like, what triggered you to get into cosplay to begin with, aside from like the anime stuff? Because there's a lot of people that watches anime, but it's like not a lot of people actually attempt to cosplay. usually it's because of something, but I don't know if that's your case.
Well, I kind of have like two reasons I cosplay. So or like that made me want to. So the first one was my big sister showed me Michelle Phan and these Indonesian cosplayers, and I like fell in love with them. And I was like, I need to do this like right now. Like I need to be them. How do I cosplay? And I started doing that. But then there was a point in my like high school years where I was like, I'm kind of done. I grew out of my cosplay phase. I thought I was done with it. And then my friend Simon, like he just told me that like cosplaying was always something that brought you happiness, and you know, why are you trying to give that up? And I was like, you're right. Why am I? And it kind of just like rekindled like the fact that I love cosplaying so much. And it's kind of why I'm still cosplaying today. But also 02.
02. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So Simon told you to do something and you did it.
Yeah, Simon said.
Yeah.
Bruh, I kind of saw that coming for some reason. I don't know.
One of us was going to say it.
Of course.
We're just predictable people.
I don't know. But could you say that those Indonesian people that that your sister introduced you to, are they specifically the people that inspired you to start cosplaying, or did someone in particular, like you looked at their profile or Instagram or whatever, you're like, oh wow, this is great, and I just follow them and I just want to do a lot of cosplaying because of them, or I don't know.
Yeah, it was like the Indonesian cosplayers and Michelle Phan that like really like inspired me. I just thought what they were doing was so cool, and I wanted to do it because I was like, this looks like so much fun. Like, how do I do that? And
for the people at home who are less educated, who's Michelle Phan?
She is like the OG beauty guru. She was the one who started like everything, like makeup influencers, I guess.
Really?
Okay, I totally knew that.
Yeah.
Okay. There might be some people who was like, I can't believe you didn't know who Michelle Phan is. She's like the OG YouTuber. But yeah.
Like, how, if you don't mind me asking, like, how old did you, were you when you started cosplaying?
I was 12.
That's pretty young. Like,
yeah.
Like, it used to be back in the day, like, oh, I'm saying like I'm an old guy, but but back in my day, I don't think like you would see a lot of cosplayers that young. Usually it would be like the older people, like that's around 16 or 17 or something. But I guess because of social media that it's gotten a little more popular with the younger people as well.
Yeah, I remember when I like first started cosplaying, I would go to like, well, I kind of created like cosplay meetups in my like city because I was like, I want to make friends. But I was always the youngest person there. And it was just like, I always made friends with like older people because those were the only people who cosplayed at the time. Like now I see like 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds cosplaying, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like back when I started, it wasn't like that at all. But it's kind of cool to see how much the cosplay community has shifted.
Yeah, like I've seen crazy cosplays all over the place, and some people like take it really serious. So it's pretty amazing how it kind of evolved from this like just typical hobby that's just for fun into like something serious.
Yeah,
I think it shows a lot about the internet, like how it's had such like a huge impact on like such a niche thing,
right?
Like, something you wouldn't normally think would be like really popular. It's made it really big, and all sorts of people do it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's so cool how much it's grown.
So at what point, like, as you're doing more cosplays, like over the years, like at what point did you decided that, like, oh, I kind of want to like put myself out there more and become this, I don't know what you would call yourself. I don't know. Some people call themselves entertainers, influencers. I don't know. Like, at what point did you decide, oh, I want to be like this person within this community that has a voice?
It was never really my plan to get this big. If that makes sense. I kind of just started off as like with my Instagram, I just wanted to make friends. I felt like I wanted, didn't have a whole lot of friends that were into the same things that I were into, and I really wanted to like make a ton. And so what I did was I would like cosplay, just post the pictures because I thought, you know, that'll bring cosplayers to me. And it kind of just took off. And I didn't expect that, but I think I'm glad it happened.
Like when exactly did it actually started picking up, you know, steam?
Probably about a year ago when I started posting consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, because last year I gained, I think, about 80,000 followers.
Oh, wow.
And then this year I've gained 60,000 so far.
I checked earlier and you're on like 152,000. So
Yeah.
well done. You're like
Thank you.
5 times bigger than Jay, at least.
Oof, ouch. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. But it doesn't hurt that much. I don't know. But well, did you have any kind of skills in terms of like makeup or like sewing or that kind of stuff before you actually started cosplaying?
Oh gosh, no, I did not. I'm just thinking about like my makeup when I first started to how it is now, and I didn't know anything. There's some really scary pictures of me that have been deleted off of my Instagram where I have some absolutely terrifying makeup on.
Boy, there are scary pictures of everyone on the internet.
That's true.
Wait, what? Well, what was your first cosplay?
America from Hetalia.
I thought you were going to say like Uncle Sam. Like
Uncle Sam.
I heard the word America, and I thought you were going to say Uncle Sam.
I mean, that would be a very interesting first cosplay, and it's not very far off, to be honest.
I mean, I've never seen Hetalia, so
it's actually a pretty good anime.
I mean, I've seen compilations of it, if that's anything.
I don't know. It was like really big, like in 2010 or so. I don't know when it came out.
I was 9.
Oh.
That was around like the time that I was like starting to get into cosplay. It was like when it was at its height of popularity on the internet. That was fun times. I try to forget my Hetalia
good old
face,
days.
though. Oh no.
Like what?
Those are my cringiest days. Like what? Oh gosh, I don't want to make everyone cringe.
Like why? Out of all the anime shows, why Hetalia? Like why that specific cosplay?
So me and my big sister were gonna do. She did Canada, and I was like, "Oh, I'll do America," because they're kind of like brothers in the show. And so we were like, "Oh, perfect, we'll do that." And it was kind of my big sister choosing the cosplay for me, and I went along with it because I was just excited to cosplay.
Did you ever get to do like a big cosplay group with all the characters of Hetalia?
Yeah, there used to be these things called Hetalia Days, and it was in like October 25th, which is actually the day I cosplayed. Like the first time I ever cosplayed was that day. And like people would just like have, like we'd go to a park and like everybody there would just be in Hetalia cosplays. It was really fun. We'd bring like food, play games.
Wouldn't that be
kind of one of those now?
Huh? What type?
I want to do one of those now. Like, I just want to turn up to a park wearing like a German army uniform. Like, yeah,
bruh. Yeah. Oh my god. Like the actual German army uniform and stuff.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Of course you would do that.
Just to avoid getting arrested, I wouldn't paint my face or anything, but like...
Oh god, I could see that going wrong. So
it's gonna go amazingly well.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, wasn't it awkward, like, cosplaying in, well, you said a park, so I'm assuming it was public space, right? So it wasn't like awkward or anything, or did you ever get like stares or something for doing that in public?
I mean, we definitely got stared down, but at that time in my life, I had no like awareness of my surrounding. I was just excited to like cosplay with other people. And so I don't think I really was paying much attention to what people were doing or reacting to me. I was just having the time of my life. But we definitely did get stared down.
Was it on were there many other people around, or Was it like a quiet day for that park?
It was a pretty public park. So there's quite a few people there.
Mm. I feel like cosplaying takes a lot of bravery. Like, you have to, like, because people for some reason think they should judge people for dressing up as fictional characters, which is, well, for one, it's dumb. Not dressing up as fictional characters.
Wow,
The judging part is dumb.
Wow,
The judging
insult
part is
our
dumb.
guests like that? Wow.
It's okay.
Hey, I wouldn't insult you yet. The judging part is dumb. I think, like, you have to have a lot of bravery to sort of, like, combat that judgment.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I personally could go out and cosplay by myself in public anymore like I used to be able to. Like, I just don't think I have that bravery anymore because I just feel like I've had too many weird experiences in public for me to feel comfortable doing that.
Oh, really? Do you mind sharing if you don't?
I mean, I could talk about, like, probably the weirdest one. So I was in... story time. I was in Vocaloid. I was in my Gumi cosplays. Actually, she's a Mega Boy. Anyways, I was wearing... The skirt's not short. It's not, like, super short, but it's, like, past the knee. And I was wearing it, and we were at the mall. I had, like, a photographer with me, and this couple comes up to me, and they start going... Like, they kind of, like, pin me. They didn't, like, purposely pin me in a corner, but, like, when they walked up to me, I kind of was trying to walk away because I knew they were going to come up and talk to me. So I tried kind of, like, dodging them, but it kind of ended up getting in the corner. And they were like, your skirt's pretty short. And I'm like, no, it's fine. It's not. I'm wearing shorts. It's all good. And the girl started to try to lift my skirt. My photographer intervened and was like, no, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm just trying to fix her skirt for her. And I was like, no, get away from me. And they ended up, like, walking away after that. But I was like, that was the moment where I was like, I need a bigger group to go out in public and cosplay because...
Wait, how old was that person?
They were in their 40s, I'm pretty certain. They were pretty
What?
old.
Damn.
And they touched you without consent. What the heck?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was in high school. I think I was like 15.
Oh, jeez.
It's something I've learned is when people see people doing, like, something that's a little bit different, they forget, like, boundaries. They forget everything.
They
it just
forget
goes
the
out
law.
their ear. And it's hard. You kind of have to remind them, like, hey, you can't touch me.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, you were saying earlier, like, that Simon convinced you. Was that the point that you decided to, I want to keep doing this in terms of cosplaying, or was it something else?
It was kind of like him motivating me, and then, like, so I was like, oh yeah, I should cosplay more. And then I started doing it, and then I was like, oh yeah, I absolutely love cosplaying. It was kind of also the time when I fell in love with 02. And I was like, I need to absolutely cosplay this girl, like, right now. And I bought her cosplay, and I was like, cosplaying is fun again.
Wow, so that was like recently then, because I think Darling to Franks came out like what, a year and a half ago or something.
It was the end of 2018. Yeah.
Wow, that feels like it was last year, dude.
I know,
my God.
right?
I remember I started that show. That was the first show I watched on Funimation now. And I started it New Year's Day 2019. And I'm on episode 4, so that wouldn't.
I watched it while it was airing, like, earlier that year.
It was a pretty good show up until, like, the ending, because, like, I don't know if you, Chrissy, if you've ever seen Gurren Lagann or Yudaki, but it kind of went that way in terms of, like, suddenly it was, like, on Earth, then suddenly just space battle. I don't know.
Yeah, I felt like they threw a lot of random things at the end, and I was like, oh, this show had so much potential.
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
stopped caring about Gurren Lagann after that guy with the cape died. So.
Oh, wow. So as you do more cosplays throughout the years, does it, like, ever get to you, like, in terms of, like, I don't know, because I know sometimes people have this problem when it comes to creating content on the internet, whether it can be videos or, like, films or, even, like, photography or, like, cosplaying as well. like they have like this mental breakdown, or they feel like it's too much for them. Do you ever get those feelings? Because I know for me, as a YouTuber, I have this thing where it's like it becomes so overwhelming that it just mentally exhausting to keep doing this.
Yeah, I do. And when I do those moments, I try to just take a step back and like give myself a little break, just because, I cosplay a lot. I try to post daily, and I think like taking a break is really important for mental health. Like anything you do, you should definitely take a break from it, because it'll really help you in the longer run not hit like what is it called? What's the word? When you forget, like you lose all your motivation. Burnout. There you go. Yeah, so you don't get a burnout.
So like when you post daily, but like when you take pictures that you post, I assume you like take a load in one like batch and then sort of spread out when you post them, or do you like take pictures daily and then post them that day?
No, I have like a schedule, so I'll cosplay 3 to 4 times a week, and then I'll kind of space those photos out throughout the month.
Yeah.
How far in advance do you plan that?
It really depends. Sometimes I'll have my whole entire month planned out on like what cosplays I'm going to get, what days I'm going to do these cosplays. And then there are just some months where I'm like, that week I'm like, okay, what cosplays do I want to buy? Or who am I going to cosplay next? Struggling to figure it out.
How many cosplays do you have?
I actually have never counted, but if I were to estimate, I think around 50 or 60.
Well,
jeez.
I have 1.5. I have 1.5.
I'm too scared to count because I just know like that's a lot of money I've spent.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a good hobby. Like it's pretty fun hobby to get into. But like you said, it's a lot of money for me. My biggest expenses when it comes to hobby is like buying all this anime, manga, and like video game stuff.
I think the entire community is expensive. Like no matter what you do, it costs money. Unless you do things illegally, like a loser. It's an expensive community because like if you like a character, you want to get like figures or maybe a cosplay of that character, and if you like a series, you might want to get the manga of it. And I think of like everything, cosplay is probably either the most expensive because you might just buy a costume online, or it can also be kind of cheap if you make your own costume. But it really depends on how easy the costume is to make.
I don't know. I don't like. I've tried because when I first because I started cosplaying too, like a while back ago, like around 2013. My first cosplay was like Trainer Red from the original Pokemon games, and I actually sewed everything myself except for the pants and stuff. I just wore like jeans, so I only sewed the vest, and that took me forever. And I don't know, like I find it like, well, that was cheap because it was just a vest and I already had everything else. But like, how do you decide whether you want to make it yourself? Because I know if you buy it online, it's not as detailed as if you would make it yourself or not. Or do you even make your own cosplays?
So I have made cosplays in the past, and how I choose whether if I want to buy or make my costumes are usually by like, how much time do I have in the month? Is this going to be at a convention? Because normally if it's for a convention, I'm going to make it because I feel like I want to, like if I make something, I want to show it off. I want people to see it IRL, not just on camera. Or and how hard it is. Am I going to do it in a group? Because if it's a group cosplay, I definitely want to make it because, I want to put in the effort for the group. So it really depends. And then if it's like for Instagram, or if I just really want to cosplay the character, but I don't have enough time to make the costume, I'll buy it online, which is usually the case for me because I work a full-time job.
What do you find easier, or not find easier, but what do you find more expensive, like buying it online or like making it yourself? Because I know sometimes, like in my case, when I started cosplaying, my first cosplay only costed like what, $$30 to make the vest. I don't know about you.
Well, so since whenever I want to do, like, when I want to make a cosplay, I usually go for more like intricate with foam, like foam armor and things like that, that's usually more expensive. Like my Raftalia cosplay is probably I put in $300 to $400 on that one, just because I bought the costume. I had to redo the costume. I made the armor, made the sword. I bought really nice ears, but I also tried to make them the first time. It just didn't turn out right. I'm not meant to make furry ears. So yeah, that one I ended up putting in a lot of money to make it. And I remember my Zula was about almost 200 because I made foam armor for her. So foam can be expensive.
Like how expensive does it usually go for? Or like how much do you usually find yourself spending on foam and stuff like that?
Say like $40 for like a roll, but I go through the rolls pretty fast, so it can add up.
Do you usually buy it online, or is it something you buy like at a local store or something?
Well, up until recently, I would only buy it online because craft stores didn't really have foam available. But since cosplaying has gotten so popular, Yaya Han has been able to put foam out. And who's the other cosplayer that just launched like cosplay crafting materials? I think it was no, it's not her. Well, there's another cosplayer that launched crafting materials for cosplayers at Michael's too. So foam is more accessible.
Oh, that's good. Like,
go
ahead.
Sorry, no, you first.
No, go ahead.
Age before beauty, or whatever they say. You first.
Wow. Okay. I see how it is. Okay, so.
Hey, you're old.
Wow, insult me like that. Okay, but
that's not an insult.
Okay, whatever you say, Ducky. But like I don't know. Like wow, I kind of forgot what I was gonna say. Thanks a lot. But
so sorry.
Let me go. You can go ahead, Ducky, while I think.
Is there one is there a cosplay you've ever made, like you've spent a lot of time and effort and money on it, and you've ever you finish it and then it's really disappointing, lackluster, and you just sort of scrap the idea of it?
Yeah, I made for a Miku cosplay. No one's ever seen the costume I made for it because it was terrible. The material I decided to use to make the shirt was awful. I didn't put in too much money for it though. I think it was only $40-ish for everything. But I could not get that cosplay to cooperate with me, so I was just into the trash.
Oh.
Like when you're creating these cosplays or deciding on a cosplay, do you use blueprints from online? Because I know some people when they're creating cosplays, they look up forums or something how do you make the swords for this character or that kind of stuff, or do you go based on on images you see on the show and decide what material you want to use for that or this?
This is where my friend Simon comes in and helps me with that. He's the one who taught me how to sew, but whenever I try to go get materials for cosplays, I try to bring him with me because he's really good at picking out what type of fabric I should use. And he taught me for patterning. Patterning is just kind of look for items of clothes in your wardrobe and kind of if that's similar to the outfit, and obviously just copy it. So that's usually what I do to make my patterns. I've also learned that Kinpatsu taught me this, but you can saran wrap yourself and then duct tape yourself and then draw the pattern onto your body to make a more form-fitting design.
It sounds really weird. Yeah.
But it's really, really helpful if you're trying to make a skin tight, not skin tight, but super tight cosplay.
That sounds really scary because okay, so I hate sticky things, so having to duct tape myself would kill me.
Oh, no, the duct tape. Okay, so you saran wrap yourself first, and then you put the duct tape on, so it doesn't stick to you at all.
Okay, that might be okay then. I'm gonna do that.
Might be
see
okay
if I die.
But only do your arm first, and then do like your torso. Like, do it in parts. Don't actually saran wrap and duct tape yourself. Like
my entire body, up to my eyes.
You'll lose circulation so fast.
Excellent.
See you, Ducky. Nice knowing you.
Yeah, nice knowing you.
You'd think for someone with my name I would be okay with duct tape.
Right. Since you said you plan everything ahead, like, do you feel like the pressure of constantly making the content that you do, like on Instagram, or I don't know if you have other outlets where you post your content as well, but do you ever feel like the people that follow you like keep pressuring you into like, oh, you need to make more of this and more of this, I want to see this, or when's the next this, or that kind of stuff?
I've gotten really good at ignoring those comments. I do read them, and I do acknowledge that, like, yeah, they want this. I take note if they ask for a new character, but if they're requesting an older character, I tend to just be like, I'll cosplay, like, characters that I've already done in the past again, but, like, I just ignore those comments, because if I let them get to me, then I feel like I'll just be cosplaying the same characters over and over again, which is a huge problem a lot of cosplayers have, because sometimes, like, a cosplayer will get big for cosplaying 02, and then they can't do any other content because their following will get mad at them for cosplaying another character. Or they won't get as good of an engagement because they cosplayed another character. And I'm trying to avoid that, because I really don't want to get stuck on one character.
Yeah.
Well, that's really fascinating, because I see when I look into cosplay, like, from the outside, I didn't think about that kind of stuff, like, because I didn't either. Yeah, for like people who make videos and stuff, that's what happens to like other non-cosplayer creators as well. Like, for me,
what's happening to you, Jay?
Oh yeah, sadly. And it like you said, it's kind of hard to get out of that niche or that kind of type of content that your followers expects you to do constantly. So yeah, I totally get that. That's very fascinating. I didn't know cosplay community or cosplayers would face that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so, like,
I try to keep
on the topic of like being pressured into cosplays, like into doing like old characters. So you have this thing where apparently people want you to cosplay Shrek. How did that start?
So it started with Lord Farquaad.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember because I was just really excited to hit 10K, and I jokingly said, I'll cosplay Lord Farquaad at 20K. And the next month, well, no, it wasn't even in the next month. It was like in a couple of weeks, I hit 20K, and I was like, oh, snap, I have to do it. And then after I did Farquaad, everyone's like, okay, 100K, you'll do Shrek. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And that's kind of how I got pressured into that. I mean, I wasn't really pressured into it, because I would have done it if they were like, all right, 30K Shrek. I would have done it anyways. I would have done it without even an incentive.
All right, what about 200K?
Oh gosh, what is the cosplay they want me to do? I forget what it was. I think it was I can't remember right now.
Humpty Dumpty from Puss in Boots.
Oh my god.
No, I think it was like Steve from Minecraft or something like that. Creeper, I can't remember.
Would you do the alternative forms, or would you actually like make it out of boxes and just cosplay that?
I don't know. Maybe I'll do it out of boxes. It kind of seems like a fun thing to make. It's a Minecraft thing.
Are you planning on cosplaying Shrek anytime soon?
Yeah, I have to make. It was a whole fiasco. So, story time on how my Shrek cosplay got really messed up. So I thought I was going to hit 100K around this time this year. I was not expecting my account to like blow up as big as it did, as fast as it did. And so I was really planning on it, like, especially when Corona hit, was like, I was really hoping it would be later in the year, but I hit 100K in May, which was when all the lockdown was. And so I couldn't go to Joann's, or I couldn't go to any crafting stores because they were all closed. So I was like, okay, well, I have to find a way to order it. So I ordered it online, and it just never came. So I got my money back, and now I have to go to a Joann's and make it. So hopefully within this month or September I'll be.
Are you gonna wear Are you gonna wear like a bald cap and put like things?
I'm going all out. I'm making prosthetics. It's gonna be a huge cosplay. I'm excited because like I've never worked with like prosthetics like make fake noses, so I'm excited for that. I want to look like Shrek. It's gonna be great.
If you do videos as Shrek, can you do a Scottish accent?
Oh no, I can't do accents to save my life.
Okay. Okay.
Just let Ducky dub over it while you make a video or something.
I'll do a Scottish dub.
Okay, you'll dub my videos for me.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
So, like, does anybody outside of your online persona know what you do?
Yeah. Obviously, my family knows because my big sister, I grew up doing it. Actually, the reason why I have my current job is because of my Instagram. I used it on my resume because I'm a digital marketer, and marketing is like my big thing, and I'm really good with social media marketing in particular. And so I put that on my resume on how much my account had grown, my analytics and things like that. And because of that, they were really impressed with how I'm really good at organically growing social media, and so I got my job through that. Most of my friends are into anime, so they know I cosplay. And if they aren't, they'll find my cosplay. I don't try to hide it. I'm not really ashamed of being a cosplayer, so.
Has anyone ever like found you without you telling them? So like, say you know someone, like you're a friend, they're your friend, and then they're like follow you without you being like, hey, this is my account. They'll follow you and then ask you, hey, is this your account?
Yeah, gosh, back when I was in school, that I used to try to hide it. I used to not let people know I was a cosplayer at school just because back then you got pretty bullied if you were a cosplayer. Dang. And I remember the time it was 8th grade. They found my like cosplay Instagram, and gosh, it was miserable. I did not like it. It was like the only time people found it, and they're like, "This you?" And it was not a fun time.
Dang, yeah, like I can, like I totally see that because like, in high school, being into anime and that kind of stuff wasn't like was probably you'd more than likely get bullied and like picked on for liking that kind of stuff because a lot of people see it as like, oh, you like those Chinese cartoons or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I used to get that all the time.
I still do.
Oh my god.
I'm hoping now that cosplaying has gotten like more popular and people are starting to know what it is. I'm really hoping that the amount of kids that cosplay and that are in school, like they don't get bullied as much or as bad as it used to be because I don't want anyone to go through that.
Right. I feel like it is getting bigger. And it obviously you're a prime example of that because, you know, like out of nowhere, you just grew like that. And a lot of people are now getting into cosplay more and more because of the more anime cons that are popping up out of nowhere. But you can kind of tell that pop culture and like all this fandom, whether it's anime or like comics or something, is getting bigger because a lot of people are more accepting of like the Marvel movies and stuff. And people are like just cosplaying their favorite Marvel character or just that in general. So at that point, it's like, you know, it's getting more accepted by the masses.
And that makes me really happy because like cosplaying is tons of fun. And, you know, I hope people who try it for the first time have as much fun as I do doing it. And I hope people stop bullying people too because of it. It's not that weird. Yeah,
because I feel like after Attack on Titan hitting Netflix, like anime has been becoming more mainstream.
For sure, for sure.
Like you said, your family knows about your cosplay and stuff, like, or your friends. What do they think about it? Like about the stuff that you do and
like my friends that are into anime, they either cosplay or they're very supportive of it. But I mean, I have had some family members and some friends sit me down and be like, you need to get over this stupid hobby of yours. You know, like it's, you need to grow up. You need to get out of this phase of your life. And it's kind of really like hurts a lot because it's like something I'm super passionate about. And I like, it sucks that they couldn't see how happy I was doing it, and they felt the need to tell me to grow up. And it's kind of annoying when they do that, because I never let cosplay get in the way of me growing up, if that makes sense. Like, I try to advance in my life. I mean, I work a full-time job. I always want to make sure that I can support myself, and I would never let cosplay get in that way.
You should cosplay a really tall character and be like, I grew up, what do you think?
Oh, I should. I'll get stilts.
Oh my god. That'd be great.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be tall.
So, what? I'm curious. When your employer saw that when you put cosplay your account on your resume, what were the reactions? I'm assuming that the people who hired you for the job you have is are older demographic. They're boomers or something. I don't know.
Oh, no. I work in a startup, so it's pretty chill where I work. They were really excited. They thought it was really cool that I did that. My coworkers were ecstatic. They're all really kind of into it too. So I was happy that I got the job with those people, because they're really cool.
Got to start cosplaying, Ducky.
Yeah, got to get on that.
Yeah, okay.
Just make your first cosplay a duck or Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing. How would the duck go?
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting.
I'm pretty sure he knows quack food, which is great.
Yeah, how much time does cosplaying take from your personal time? Do you ever feel like you're engrossed into this hobby so much that it takes so much time off of your personal time with your family, friends, and stuff like that? How do you manage all that or balance everything?
Well, to start off, I don't have a life outside of work. I mean, all I do is just work and then cosplay. I mean, my friends they all are online friends. So I mean, I don't really go in person to visit my friends, and plus, the virus.
Right.
But I'd say that I give it 3 to 4 days a week for cosplaying, and the rest of the days are my days. I'll crochet. I normally just crochet when I'm not cosplaying. Watch stuff. I mean, it takes up a lot of time, but I'm fine giving that time up just because it's something I love.
Do you ever feel like it's less of a hobby and more of a job now that you've got such a big following and you do so much, you spend so much time on it?
Not really, because it's like I said, it's kind of something I really, really love doing, and it makes me happy. So I feel like it's still kind of just that thing I do to, make me happy, make my day better.
And it's just a bonus that 152,000 people like it too.
Yeah.
Okay, big question. Would you say you're an organized cosplayer or a messy cosplayer?
Absolute messy cosplayer. I have so much cosplay, and where I live, I have a tiny closet to organize it all, but I don't have enough stuff to organize it. So it's kind of just they're on hangers, but also I don't have room for my wigs. So the wigs are on the floor, but it's messy, but I know where everything is. So that's all that matters.
Do you find you spend a lot of money on stuff to store your cosplays?
No, not enough.
Not enough.
I have this drawer thing that has maybe 12 drawers on it, and that's kind of it for my cosplay organization. I
mean, it's better than having nothing, because
that's true.
You could just have a massive pile of cosplays, and you just pick one up and say, I'll wear this.
That's how I used to organize my cosplays. But I've gotten better.
I mean, yeah, I feel like a cosplay is different to normal clothes, where you have to sort of keep it neat and tidy, or it'll get really messy and it'll sort of stop being as good of a cosplay.
Yeah, the wigs definitely will get destroyed if you just throw them around.
Do you buy because I don't know, I've seen people have these wigs, the cheap eBay wigs or something that's $12 or something like that, and then there's these other wigs that look thick wigs with 3 C's, but they look so good. How do you determine a good wig from a bad wig? Because me, I'm trying to cosplay and let's say Yugi or something with the crazy hair, but a lot of the cosplay wigs on eBay or something, the wigs are like so thin. Like, how do you determine that kind of stuff while looking or shopping around?
I really read the reviews. I mostly get my wigs off of Amazon right now, just because I'm too impatient to wait for shipping. But when I do want to really like get a quality wig, I normally go to like the 5 Wits wigs, Arta wigs. I kind of go to like the wig sellers that are known for having very good luminous wigs, and I look there. But like, definitely read reviews on wigs because they'll tell you everything you need to know about the wig.
Do you ever get like paranoid or scared that even though it says good reviews that the wig turns out to be cheap or something like that? Like, especially from Amazon, because I see like there's a lot of Chinese sellers on Amazon. So for me, I'm like very iffy about buying cosplay off of Amazon because I know a lot of them come from China. So I don't know if the quality is going to be good or anything, even though people say, oh, this is great quality, but it turns out that it's like not as great within your standards.
You can fake a review.
Pictures, normally for Amazon stuff, I only get it if it has pictures on it because you can really see the quality of the wig by that. Because sometimes I've looked at the pictures and then I saw that like they're like, this wig is great, but they have like this huge knot in the back of their wig, and I'm like, but it tangles easily, doesn't it? But then there's also some times where I'm like, oh gosh, I really hope this wig does not look like it went through a garbage disposal. I think it's worth it for the fast shipping. I really am impatient when it comes to getting cosplays because I like getting them like right now.
Yeah. So I assume like next day delivery is your best friend.
Yeah. And sometimes even if I like go to a different website for cosplays, I will pay for that express shipping because I can't wait. I get so excited.
I wish express shipping was a like normal thing here because like I order something, it's like, oh, you'll have it by the end of the week, and it's here by like the end of the month. So
express shipping is like super fast shipping.
Have you ever bought a wig that was like, I don't know if it'd be like expensive enough, but a wig that you thought would be really good and it would be awful? Or have you ever bought a wig you thought would be awful that was amazing?
My 02 wig that I use right now, I thought that wig was going to be like the worst to use, like the worst to handle wig ever, and it is probably one of my favorite wigs, just because I feel like it's just, I don't know, I feel like it suits my skin tone the best out of all my wigs. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I thought that wig was going to be absolute garbage, but
yeah,
it wasn't.
I thought you were going to say it's your favorite because it's 02, but
also that too.
Yeah,
of course.
I have my 02 Nesoberry like right next to me.
Like, what's the worst like the worst quality product you received in terms when you expected something to be good, or the worst cosplay quality? Yeah.
Trying to think. What cosplay was like this absolute garbage?
Yeah, garbage. Honestly, that's the word I was looking for.
I think most of like all my cosplays I've gotten so far have been pretty good. Like, I don't have one that like I'm like, oh, this cosplay was absolutely terrible. Actually, that's a lie. My Aqua cosplay, I hate it.
Oh, really?
So
the cosplay. My Aqua.
Okay.
I think it's the sizing that I just don't like, and the material the skirt is made out of. But it annoys the heck out of me whenever I wear it. So I'm gonna be getting a new Aqua cosplay soon because I just can't handle that costume anymore.
Has anyone ever like IRL outside of a convention came up to you and said like, "Hey, are you Catback cosplay?" Yeah,
that's happened to me a couple of times. Usually, like, they'll just stop by like, oh my gosh, hi, you're Catback cosplay. But then there's these times where people will recognize me, and then I'll get a DM later and be like, oh my gosh, I saw you at the mall, but I was too scared to go up to you. And I'm like, man, I would have loved to say hi.
Yeah.
How do you deal with like if the person's like very obnoxious or insistent on something, like how do you deal with that interaction?
Like just random, like in public.
Yeah, just like out of cosplay, and they notice you. Oh, you kept at cosplay, and they're kind of obnoxious. Because I know sometimes people can be like very like I don't know how to describe it. They're just very persistent.
Yeah, luckily I haven't had that experience yet. I don't think I'm popular enough to even like really get recognized a lot. So yeah, I haven't got recognized too much.
What about like during cons, like when you're out of cosplay and you're just walking around?
I feel like that's when I get recognized the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually when I'm trying to go somewhere or I look like the weirdest is when people are like, "Oh, you're Cap at Cosplay," and I'm like, why now?" I look like, crusty. Please leave.
Do they ever ask you ask for a picture or something out of cosplay?
Yeah. And you know, just because whenever I'm at cons, I'm so used to saying yes to pictures because I'm usually in cosplay. So when someone like is like, "Oh, let's take a photo," I'm usually like, "Okay, yeah, sure." But then always after, I'm like, I probably should have said no to that because I'm not in cosplay.
Mm-hmm. Like, did you like when you do photos and stuff? Like, I know some people, not everybody. I know some people when they take pictures with their fans and stuff. Do you do that thing where you hover over their shoulder or something?
It really depends on how, like, if they have a friend who's gonna take the photo for them, or like, it just depends on how they try to like. I let them pose themselves, and I just try to get in the shot. However, I can.
Do you ever get those weird hugs or something like that?
Yeah. I'm fine with getting hugs, but I don't like it when I get picked up or they just last too long. I just feel
someone tried to pick you up?
I've been carried away a couple of times. Like, these are like unrelated to like me being recognized. But there'll be times where it's like, "See you," and then they go to hug me, and then they just like pick me up and carry me away, and I'm like, "Whoa!" Like
like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Dang, that must be kind of scary in a way because you don't know that person and you never know what that person's intent was or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, really weird. Like, normally they just carry me to the end of the hallway or something and then put me down, but I'm like, okay, whoa. I was not ready for that. Please don't pick me up without asking first.
Do you ever had to like scold somebody for doing that?
I really hate confrontation, but so I try to like express like, like I'm really angry about that. Like, please don't do that, but I suck at like scolding people. So I have not.
Oof, I don't know what I would do if somebody did that to me. Be like, "What the heck, man? What do you want with me?"
Yeah, normally I'm like, "Whoa, what's happening?" But like, I don't know. It's so weird.
Hold up, just gonna like set a reminder on my phone to pick Jay up.
Oh, bruh. Wow. So, as you do more cosplays and stuff, do you ever feel like insecure when cosplaying? Or do comments of other people make you insecure when cosplaying like characters or just in general?
Sometimes. I think the biggest thing this is kind of awkward to talk about too, but like the biggest thing that people really like comment on, and I hate it, is the fact that I'm so flat chested. It's not my fault, and I get called, like, you shouldn't say this term, but I get called a trap all the time. I always am being accused of being a guy, and it's like I can't help that I'm flat chested, and I think it's like I'm not really as insecure about it, but like when people bring it up, I'm kind of like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help that." And especially if I do like a more bustier cosplay, that's when I get the comments the most, I think. And it's annoying. You could go on like my Instagram reels right now, and you probably, if you go to like, I think it's Chica that I'm getting it on right now, and you could probably just scroll through and read all the like, "Oh my gosh, are you a trap? Are you a guy?"
Oh my god.
I try to make it very obvious I'm a girl.
Right. I feel like this other cosplayer that actually went viral. I forgot what her name was.
I Cosplay?
Yeah. Everybody was saying that she looked like a guy and stuff.
I felt so bad for her because I felt with I remember when she even told me when I first started getting the comments, she's like, "Oh no, you're getting the comments too," and I felt so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to Oh, go ahead.
I feel like the worst thing you can hear when someone's talking about something bad happened to you is the word "to."
Yeah.
Because then you know that it's happened to them as well, and even though it's bad to be the only person, it's a bit worse to be not the first.
Yeah, and the fact that so many people are doing it and commenting those things, and you can usually tell it affects the person. I think she talked about it later that it really gave her kind of body dysmorphia a little bit because she just felt so uncomfortable with the fact that so many people were calling her a guy, and she was looking at her body and was like, "Do I really look like a guy?"
Yeah, that's horrible. God, a lot of people on the internet just, oh my God. But it's kind of expected, I guess.
Guys. Jeez. It's 2020, jeez.
Oh my God.
I don't know why that's a reason for things to change, but come on, it's 2020.
Yeah, let's stop. I thought that, because a lot of people do it because they think it's a funny meme joke.
Mm-hmm.
And that meme is so dead. Let's let it die.
Right. Do you ever get or anxious or something, or you want to comment back or something, or reply to those kinds of comments or something?
Not really. Well, okay, I'll comment on some of them, but most of the time it's me joking or just saying I'm a girl. That's it. I don't really engage after that. But there's sometimes where they'll be like, "Oh, my trap meter's going off," and I'm like, "Oh well, I guess it must be off because you're wrong."
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of meme back at them.
Right. Have you ever had a comment that actually made you angry? So you actually genuinely replied to it?
No, because I really just don't try to let comments get to me too much. I mean, when I first started getting comments like that, I kind of did, and then I was like, "Oh wait, I shouldn't let that happen." But I guess the best thing to do when I receive the "Are you a guy?" comments is just ignore it. I'm not a guy. I obviously know I'm not a guy. And, they're not the brightest for saying that, It's not cool. Don't say that.
I feel like the bigger you get into I know when people cosplay and stuff like that, they're like, "Oh yeah," going back kind of to that topic of the body shaming and that kind of stuff, which is horrible. But I feel like it seems to me that if you're just starting to cosplay just because for fun and stuff with your friends, nobody bats an eye, right? But the bigger you get, I feel like more people become more critical of that kind of stuff. "Oh, you don't fit that body size for this character and you should not cosplay that because of that." Mm-hmm. It's I don't know. How do you feel about that kind of stuff? Do you think it's true that because of that, because you're becoming more and more bigger, more people are going to be more critical of your cosplays like that?
Absolutely. I think the bigger you get, the more criticism you're going to get. I just think the best thing to do is, I say this to people who are like, "Oh, I want to get big." I'm like, you need to learn how to love yourself before you do that, because you're going to get so many comments about your body, and you need to learn to deflect those comments, because it's going to affect you mentally if you let them all get to you. I mean, if someone calls me fat, I don't think about it. I'm like, I'm not fat. I like the way I look. It's fine. I'm not going to change for you. And I think if somebody who is not prepared for that and is just thrusted into the fame, it's going to be really hard for them to adapt and get used to those kinds of comments. Yeah. So it definitely, as you get bigger, you're going to get a lot more criticism and hate comments and more negative stuff. But I mean, just focus on the positive, because I get way more positive comments than I get negative comments. So, I'm going to...
I think...
Huh?
Sorry, finish your sentence.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm going to pay more attention to the positive comments than the negative ones, because that's how, it gets to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of like bad criticism, and it's often like not like bad criticism's never good. It's not, but like it's sometimes really extreme. Like on Twitter, for example, there was, I think it was like a black person cosplayed Nezuko who got a load of backlash on it because they weren't white. But at the same time, Nezuko's a lot of these characters are Asian, so white people cosplaying them isn't accurate anyway. So
I've been seeing a lot. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's a lot of racism in the cosplay community, and I hate it. I think it shouldn't be a thing. I think a black person should be able to cosplay any character they want, and they shouldn't get those comments like Nezuko isn't black. Like it makes me so mad that people do that, because I'm like, that hurts their feelings, because they want to cosplay, and a lot of them do it so amazing, and it's just really annoying when people comment comments like that.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, I was gonna say the same thing. Like I've been seeing, like, lately, I don't know why, it's probably just Facebook in general that's being stupid, or like Twitter or something, but lately I've been seeing more and more situations like that, where, like, I don't know if you were aware of this, Chrissy, but there was I think it was this year, where the whole Sailor Moon kind of thing, where people depicted Sailor Moon in a different race or something like that, and people got mad because that's not her original race or whatever in the anime. But I don't know. Is it just me, or does it feel like more and more as the years go by? I feel like it's being amplified more, because back then, like, you would see people, whether they're black, white, or Hispanic or whatever, cosplay different characters, and nobody really would say anything. But now it's like being brought to light, and people making such a big deal out of it.
I think especially when like a person of color cosplayed a character, they would always get those comments. I've had some friends that I've been around, and someone literally went up to them and was like, "Oh, you can't cosplay that character. You're black." And I'm like, it's always been a thing in the cosplay community, and I think now people are starting to vocalize how it shouldn't be a thing in the cosplay community.
Wow, that's disgusting.
I know. It's so frustrating, because it's like, I'm white and I'm cosplaying. Like, that really shouldn't. Like, don't bring race into this. We're just here to have fun. We're not here to like offend and fight.
It's not cool. There's a lot of people like cosplay characters because they appreciate the character.
Yeah.
So by saying you can't do that because of your race is like saying you can't appreciate the character because of your race.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, and especially like if they're not pretending they're Asian, they're not pretending they're a different race, just let them do their thing.
Yeah, they're just wearing the clothes that character wears.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of that, like because of that kind of stuff, what are your general thoughts on the cosplay community and overall?
I think the cosplay community is a really great place to make friends. But, there's good and bad and ugly in every community, I feel like. And I feel like the cosplay community is kind of the same way. I mean, it has its moments where, it's really ugly. Cancel culture is really a big thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
It also has its really great moments where, you make friends, opportunities grow because of it. But yeah, I try to not focus too much on the bad. Just enjoy the good parts of it.
Are you like really involved in the community, or are you just like on the sidelines just looking in while cosplaying? I
don't feel like I'm super involved in the community. I don't really talk to that many cosplayers on the daily. So I feel like I'm not really like super involved in the community.
If that's the case, I don't know if this applies to you. Do you ever get like drama, or people starting drama with you and some other cosplayers?
No, but I used to be kind of involved with the cosplay community, I guess, because like now I get back to it. Like, I used to do a lot of cosplay meetups, and then like I used to try to make friends with a lot of cosplayers in my area, but then a lot of like it did get kind of like drama-y. Like I wasn't directly involved in any of the drama, but like I've had friends, and I'm not going to talk about the drama because I don't think they want to. I don't want to bring up stuff in the past.
Right. Understandable. Yeah.
I've had friends that have gotten exposed and things like that for like dumb reasons or things like that, and I try to avoid it. I don't really like drama that much. I don't want to be involved with it. It creates a lot of like negativity and things.
Do you ever get like dragged into it?
Not really. I don't think I've been in any drama for like the past like 3 years.
Has anyone ever tried to cancel you?
No.
Not yet.
I hope there is no reason to cancel me. I really I try to create a positive place. I don't want to be canceled.
I mean, eventually, like if you get big enough, someone will find a reason or a way to like, want to cancel you.
I hope not. I think the only thing people could cancel me for is being really cringy.
I mean, maybe someone will be really disappointed in the Shrek. You just be like, no.
I hope not. I'm like,
oh my god, I don't like the Shrek costume. We have to cancel Catback cosplay.
No. Yeah, I hope not.
Then you look at the person who says that, and it's the real life Shrek.
Okay, if Shrek cancels me, I have to just accept it.
So, as you're cosplaying and all that kind of stuff, like, do you ever get like creepy DMs from guys or just people in general asking for like, like this weird requests and that kind of stuff? And if so, what's like the weirdest thing you gotten, if you don't mind sharing?
I definitely get a lot of like really creepy DMs. Gosh, I'm so used to them now that it like doesn't faze me too much. I'm trying to think of like the creepiest. Gosh, I probably put it out of my mind, but like I get
understandable.
I get asked, like I get proposed to a lot. Like people legit like are like, "Hey, I really want to marry you" or something like that.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
yikes.
I'm like, I don't normally answer those because I'm sorry, it's gonna be a no from me. I don't really want to get married anytime soon.
Do you ever feel like when people send those messages, they're sending them like more to the characters?
I'm not really sure. It's kind of hard to tell.
Because like obviously none of them really like know you.
Yeah, I think they're sending it to the idea of Catback Cosplay, but they don't know me, so they don't really know who Catback Cosplay is. You know,
I don't think like I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah. It'd be hard to fund a slushy addiction. So.
True, yeah. It's about like $3,000 every year. Actually, it's not that much.
It's like half of what I make, I think.
Actually, it's not even that much.
I don't know. Let me do some maths.
Well, Ducky's doing the
wait,
maths.
I've exaggerated it. It was like maybe like $400
okay, it's like
every year.
A quarter.
Sorry.
Still.
I can't math.
So, like, how do you, have you ever, were you ever tempted to, like, actually reply? Because I know when I get, like, weird comments or something, I always I'm always tempted to reply to it because it's just weird. So absurdly
you
weird.
Get really funny comments.
Yeah, like, oh my god.
Like,
dude.
I saw your comment you put on, like, the description of last week's podcast. Someone just replied to it saying hello.
Yeah, it's so random.
Oh, you know what? I remembered what some of my creepiest messages are. Sorry.
She's reading them right now.
No, I'm not. But it's usually how people very graphically describe really nasty things and what they want to do to me. Those are the creepiest messages for me.
Oh my god.
It's disgusting.
I feel like it's kind of expected in the cosplay community, especially for females, like female cosplayers. They more than likely get that, like, the instant they hit, like, probably hundreds of thousands of likes on your posts or something. Like, these guys just, I don't know, conjure up together and be like, yeah, we need to send her these DMs because we got to let her know what we think about that person. And which is weird. Like, people are so weird because, you know, there's people that just send those nasty pics of themselves, and for some reason in their head they think that the person on the receiving end like wants to see that for some reason, which is wow. Like,
I never want to see that. It's disgusting.
yeah, pretty sure. Like, I really feel bad because like you're doing something you love, and then you get these people out of nowhere just, I don't know, doing that to you.
It's weird, but like I said, I'm so used to it at this point. It doesn't faze me anymore. So I just, like, if I get comments like that, like I'll read like the first part and I'll be like, oh, all right, next. Like, just move on. But it is a lot of cosplayers do get that. And I feel like a lot of cosplayers do get pressured to like be lewd or to do lewds and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's another question I kind of had. Did you ever feel pressured into getting into that part of the quote industry, I guess?
Not really. I mean, I obviously get comments like, do you lewd? Do you lewd? All the time. But it's just not me. It's not my thing. I'm the most awkward person when it comes to that stuff. So, like, I don't think I could ever. No, it's just not who I am. Like, kudos to people who do lewd. I think it's really cool what they do, but like, it's just not me. And I guess like people do really want that, and they do ask me to lewd a lot, but I'm sorry, I'll never.
That's good. Like, I just can't never see that from you. Just because I know how much you love cosplaying based on the stuff I've seen you post and stuff, and the hard work you put into your cosplays. So I feel like that's like the last thing, or not even on the table kind of thing.
There's no point putting so much effort into making a cosplay when all you're going to do is take it off.
Yeah.
Take pictures. Yeah. I feel like, in a way, if you lewd cosplay, it's sort of, no offense to anyone who does, not that they're going to be listening to this, but no offense to anyone that does lewd cosplay. Like, I feel like it sort of defiles the character in a way.
And in some ways, I guess, yes, you have a point. But a lot of people, I guess, the cosplayers themselves don't see it that way. But, you know, everyone to their own, right? So.
Yeah.
But at some point, it has to be like, oh, you're just wearing the cosplayer horns, and that's like the only, and you call it cosplay. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to show people, you don't have to really lewd to be someone. It's fine just doing whatever you want to do. Don't let people push their ideas onto you.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of cosplayers that get into cosplay and get as big as you do, allow that pressure get to them, and they eventually see themselves doing that later on because of that pressure. But I'm glad to hear that you don't let that get to you.
Yeah, I think it's the idea that sex sells.
Yeah, and
a lot of cosplayers, they want to get big, and they know that's what's going to work. But I guess for me especially is, since I do have like a marketing career outside of cosplaying, doing lewds would affect that career for me. I feel like, especially if, let's just say I want to, like, I feel like the younger generation wouldn't really care too much. I don't want to, like, what's the word I'm trying to look like, signal any groups out, but it's just kind of how the demographics work. But if I were to try to get a job with an older age group, like, as my boss, they wouldn't want to hire me because I have done lewds. And, you do have to consider your future when posting things onto social media. You need to think about, like, oh, is this going to negatively affect my image? Because employers do look at your social medias. And, even if you hide it, they're still going to find it. I guarantee it. As a marketer, I know that sometimes if you have your phone connected to Instagram and Facebook, it'll, recommend your page to people.
Oh
So,
god.
like,
Yeah, no kidding. Like that's why for me on my Instagram, like personal Instagram, I always try to put like some obscure username with like an anime picture and I never tell anybody that I'm into anime aside from my friend group. So I feel like that's a deterrent for me to make sure that they know that's not me, because they're like, "Oh, what's this Victor Marino guy?" There's no way that could be him. Because
you just outed your real name. Wow.
It's fine. It's already public, so it's fine. People already know my name. So, but I don't know. Do you ever find yourself doing that?
When I first started cosplaying, I did, and like I guess started like using social media. I tried to hide myself a little bit, but like at this point, if you know me, you know I cosplay. It's my Facebook has no cosplay on it. My I think the only one that doesn't is my personal Instagram account, like the one that I just have like friends and family on it. That one I feel like, but I talked about cosplay on there too, so I don't try to hide it anymore. I think like if you know me, you know I cosplay.
Right. Do you ever get like weird friend requests from your personal Instagram that came from your cosplay account or something?
No, surprisingly not. Like no one's found it really.
Darby's really given me a scavenger hunt to go on.
Wow, Ducky.
Good job.
Yeah, just
I don't even remember. Yeah, just don't out it.
I don't know if I want to like go on that search or not.
Yeah, just make sure not to dox or anything, because that would be pretty bad.
Dox me? I mean, it's private. Like you have to request to follow it. So I mean, like it won't do anything. I just have it. I just say it's like my personal because I have like my siblings on there, and I don't want. I really try to protect my like siblings from like the internet. I don't like as much as I love everyone. I just don't want my siblings to get like weird messages or people who think because I'm not single or I'm like I don't want to pay attention to them. They can go and harass my siblings about it.
Do they ever get like confronted that you're a Catback cosplay or anything like that? Or do people?
Not that I know of. I think I've done a pretty good job at keeping them hidden.
Okay, good job, because I know some people that somehow they got doxxed and their family gets harassed constantly by fans and stuff because of that, because of the fame.
I'm so grateful that I have just not been doxxed yet. I'm like so nervous if it ever happens. Like I really don't want that to happen, just because I don't want my family to be, harassed because of me. They didn't do anything. They do their own thing. I'm doing my thing. I don't think people need to go and bother my family about it.
How's your experience cosplaying at conventions in general?
For the most part, it's really good. I normally go with groups. I don't like really going to cons by myself. So I just normally go with groups. We have fun. I do a lot of photo shoots at cons. I feel like you won't see me actually at the convention hall that much. You'll see me probably outdoors doing like photo shoots just because I go to cons to cosplay and cosplay with other people and hang out with them versus like I know some people go for like the panels. I do go for the artist alley, but I mainly go to cosplay with friends and and so I normally have really good cosplaying experiences at conventions.
Like at some point, like for me, like when I go cosplaying at cons and stuff, and I see a lot of people cosplaying, and then they're just out there in the hallways, just hanging out. At some point, do you ever question that you don't really need a badge if it's like a big convention? Like I know, like the big conventions where you could just easily walk in without a badge, but in order to get into panels, you do need a badge. But since you're there only for cosplaying, do you ever find it like, oh, I don't need a badge. I'll just walk in with my cosplay and that's it, if that's the only thing you're there for?
I hate that I did this as a kid because it's terrible for the convention. You want to support the con. But
Right.
I used to ghost cons a lot. That's what it's called when you don't buy a badge, but you hang out. And it was because I couldn't afford to buy a badge at the time.
Mhm.
And I used to do that a lot just because I was like, fine. And I just hang out in the hallways. But I feel like a lot of cons have been cracking down on that too, which is kind of a good thing because, like, you really should pay to support the con. But I mean, like, there was like, I think Anipop Con last year, we didn't get a badge because we ended up just staying outside of the convention center the whole entire time.
Mhm.
We didn't get in at all. So we were like, okay, well, we really don't need to drop the money to get a badge if we're not even going to go to the con itself. But if I'm going to be going through, like, the convention halls, like, a lot, I'll buy a badge just because, respect. Also, I like looking at the artist alley.
Is there like a stigma when it comes to, what was it called? Ghost conning?
Ghosting.
Ghosting
cons.
Ghosting cons?
Yeah, ghosting
Like within the cosplay community?
A lot of people, especially me, are now trying to encourage people, buy a badge or just don't go to the con. Or, don't go near the con.
Right.
But I don't think there really is one. I think a lot of people who are younger or, they might not be able to afford the badge. Sometimes badges are ridiculously expensive and, they don't have like $70, $80 laying around to just throw out a badge.
Right.
So I really don't know. Because, like, I understand both sides of the argument. Like, I wanted to just see my friends in cosplay. I wasn't really going to go into the con area itself and do things. But I also understand, like, you need to support the cons. And I see both sides of the problem.
Do you ever, do your friends or anything that ever done that ever get like criticism for doing it, or within your friend group, are they critical of that kind of stuff?
Not really. I feel like it's kind of normal though. Like, I know a lot of people do the badge sharing thing where they like take turns with the badges, but I've never like been like someone confronted me because I didn't pay for a badge. Or I haven't seen somebody be confronted, but like not by like the con staff, but like some random person because they weren't wearing a badge.
How does sharing badges work? Because it sounds like when you try to get into a club, so someone else gives you their ID.
It kind of is like, so it's like, let's say you want to go into the vendor's hall, but you have a friend who's going to go get food or something. You can ask to borrow their badge to go into the vendor's hall.
Okay.
And
so it's not like they walk in, hand you their badge in front of security, and then...
some people do this thing where they'll have like the badge in, there'll be two people. They'll both have the badges on, they'll go in, and then one of them will take their badge off, give it to the one person, go back out and get the other person. But I feel like cons have gotten more like strict on that.
So like they know it's happening.
Yeah.
Which con's like your favorite within your local area?
Oh, local? Can it be like out of state?
Yeah, that too.
I was gonna say ASIN. I just that con is just so much fun. Yeah, you really miss.
I was so close.
The con you couldn't go to.
Next year.
Yeah, I got an email like when I had to cancel. It's like, oh, don't worry, we pre-registered you for next year. So
okay, that's good. Yeah, next year we should all go to ASIN. But that's my favorite con. I just love it because I just like the area. The area is great. You're so close to Chicago. You can go to Chicago if you want to. The con's awesome. The artist alley is just so wonderful. Last time I went to ASIN, I think I spent like $300, $400.
Oh, that's expected.
I know.
Like you can't, like literally, you cannot go to ASIN without spending at least $200 on stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And like it was just
accepted.
I challenge you to only spend 1 cent.
Deal.
Bruh. And just watch, there's like a vendor with 1 cent stuff right there.
I'll find a homeless man and give him that 1 cent and not buy anything.
Wow.
Okay, no, you need to buy stuff if you go to ASIN because like you just can't. You walk in there and it's just like it's just beautiful. It's heaven, honestly. The vendor hall is so huge too. It's so great. And the game area. I just like everything about ASIN. the convention center, like outside, is beautiful. It's perfect for photo shoots. They have tulips, which are my favorite flowers. So of course, like I gotta take photos around them. And then the vendors hall, they have it's like a 24/7 game room. It's really fun. They have photo shoots area. It's just a great con itself. The rave is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I watched a video of that rave.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gets pretty crazy, but I've also heard stories about stuff happening in low key during the rave. Or we can't really say rave. Or actually, it's Illinois, so
yeah, it's Indiana that you have to be like an electric dance party.
Yeah, for some stupid reason. But that's just how our state is, I guess.
But I think ASIN's just a great con. I like that. Also like the Anime Blues Con too. That was a pretty fun one.
Was that like anime but everyone's a jazz musician?
I didn't really hear any jazz at that con though.
Why is it blues?
Excellent question. I just like the atmosphere of the con. The vendors hall was like really great. And I liked Memphis. Like the city was beautiful. I wish I could have like taken a lot of photos there.
So now that you have a big following, like you said that you have like 150, or Ducky said you have 152,000, which is crazy. But now that you have a big following, do bigger cosplayers like give you or notice you more, or do they like reach out to you or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I've had a couple big ones reach out to me and like talk to me a little bit. I guess like the ones that I'm like more close to, like more mutuals with, are I kind of grew with them when like we all grew up, like our accounts grew together, and so we kind of have that bond. Like me and Pocky Thief, I feel like we both blew up around the same time, and so because of that, we have like that bond. But yeah, I do get reached out to, or like a lot, like some bigger cosplayers will follow me, or I will notice that they were following me, and I get so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, this person followed me. They think I'm that cool. I'm not really though.
Is there anybody like in the cosplay community that you looked up to, and then suddenly they started talking to you or recognizing you?
Well, I always looked up to, I hope I'm going to say their username right, but it's called Juvia Nix Cosplay. Wait, is it Project or Cosplay? I might be a fake fan right now. Oh, sorry,
You're good.
I didn't see anything. I have like a notepad.
And I only counted 49 states. Your entire country's a lie.
What? Did you forget Hawaii or Alaska?
Yeah.
Okay,
no, I counted those.
Okay, Juvia Nix Project. Okay, there you go. Anyways, I love their makeup style, how much effort they put into cosplaying, and just everything about their cosplays, and like they like make backdrops. Like they make backdrops out of like tablecloth streamers, and it's so beautiful what they do. And I just like wish I could do what they do, but there is someone I really look up to, and they followed me back. I think it was like last year in April, I want to say. And I about died. I was so excited. I was like, these people, I really look up to them. Follow me. I was really excited.
Did you ever...
And also,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, when Emiru followed me, I had that moment. She followed me on TikTok, and I about did a backflip. She's just so talented, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person noticed my crusty cosplays.
Do you ever try to, like, once they follow, do you ever try to, like, reach out to say hello or that kind of stuff?
Yeah, if like, someone I follow, or, like, someone that, like, I think is super cool and they follow me, I'll just introduce myself and say, hi, nice to meet you, you know, just to be nice, you know, make friends.
It must be a cool moment when suddenly out of nowhere, like, the cosplayers that you look up to just suddenly out of nowhere just, like, recognize you as a person and your work in general. Must be like probably the best feeling. Like what went through your head when that first happened? Like,
I nearly screamed. I was just so excited. I like nothing went through my head. I was just so like, I can't believe you noticed me. Like I don't.
Do you
I
think
just.
like, has anyone who like inspired you? Oh, pardon me. Like, has anyone you used to look up to like followed you? Like anyone who like, for example, you said like, not Michelle Fan specifically, because apparently she's really famous. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like anyone you used to like before you did like cosplay, has anyone who you used to admire like followed you?
Yeah, Juvian Nick's Juvian Nick's project.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3 cosplayers, and they're just super stunning people. They're amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, they followed me. And gosh, Brain Emery, she's another person who is like a really talented cosplayer. Her cosplays are also beautiful and like well made. She is a seamstress, so she makes all her cosplays, and they're just stunning. And she followed me, and I about like died. It was great.
Usually when that happens, do you like share it with your family or friends, or just your cosplay buddies?
Yeah, I'll share it with like my friends or whoever's near me at the time. I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this person followed me! Oh, I can't believe they did it!" And
I can just imagine you like showing your cat the phone, like, "Oh my god, they followed me!
Look, this person followed me!" My cat doesn't care.
It just meows or and just goes back to
runs
sleep
away.
Or something. Yeah.
It just stares at me like I'm crazy.
So as you get bigger, obviously there's gonna be people who are gonna look up to you. How does that feel? Like somebody commenting on one of your posts saying like, "Oh, I really look up to you. You inspire me to do this and that." Like, you used to be in a position that you looked up to these people, but now you're one of those people that people look up to you. Like, what do you think about that? Like, how do you feel about that kind of stuff?
I just like whenever someone says that, I'm like, I hope I am a really good role model then. I want to encourage people, to pursue cosplaying. It's a really fun hobby, and I think a lot of people would have fun doing it. And when people comment that stuff, it makes me feel happy. Like, I'm like, oh, wow, you think that, everything I put out there, you think it's really cool, that you look up to me. And I just hope that I am a role model that is meeting your expectations.
Mm.
I just want to encourage people and to follow their dreams. It's worth it.
Do you ever feel like their expectations of you is so high that you feel like it's kind of overwhelming?
Not really. I set my own expectations, and I try to not let other people set expectations for me, so that way I don't, disappoint anyone. I don't want to disappoint them too much, but I guess people do expect me to cosplay or post a cosplay photo every day. I think that's the most expectations I get.
That's not too bad then, because that's kind of it comes with the thing. So
yeah, it's better than having someone to expect you to do a certain character on a certain day.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want people to do that to me, because I'd like to set my own cosplay.
Yeah.
I don't want to cosplay 02 every day. I'll take requests, so there'll be times where I don't know who I want to cosplay, so I'll be like, tell me who I should cosplay. And that's usually when I
when they say 02.
Actually, right now it's been Aqua and Megumin who have been getting requested a lot.
Do you ever cosplay a character who, you haven't seen the show they're from? Or do you make a point of watching the show first?
I make a point of watching the show first.
Right. I'm gonna challenge you to cosplay a One Piece character in that case.
Oh, no.
Oh my god. RIP. We won't be seeing Chrissy in a year now.
Remember the expectation thing I was talking about? No, I couldn't. I try, if I'm gonna cosplay a character, and let's say it was Reseer that was one of the most requested I had for a while. People really wanted me to do Rem. So I made it a point to watch the show before my Rem cosplay came and Amelia cosplay came, because
that way you can know the character. Yeah,
I would feel such a fake fan doing that.
It's method acting, kind of.
How would I don't even know how I would know how to pose, I didn't watch the show.
Like, do you always make sure that you watch the whole show, or do you like after like 4 episodes or 5 episodes, you're like, okay, I think I know a little bit about this character enough to like actually start cosplaying that character?
I start a show, I gotta finish the show.
Mm-hmm.
I am to the point to finish the show. Unless it's like a really long series and like the cosplay's here already, then I'm like, okay, well, I'll watch as many episodes as I can and then I'll do it. But like for the most part, if it's like 13 to like 20 episodes, I'm gonna watch the whole show.
Mm-hmm. So like, what then? If that's the case, what's the latest show you watched that there's a character that you wanted to cosplay or thought about cosplaying?
It's a good question.
No, I'm trying to think of all my... I'm trying to think. What anime did I just watch recently? Oh, I'm catching up on Fruits Baskets. That's what it is. I'm watching the new season, like the new remake, because I love it. And I really want to cosplay Toru. I love her. She's so precious.
Yeah.
Whenever someone mentions Toru, I just think of that Dragon Maru dude.
Oh my god.
I haven't seen anime, actually.
Well, aside from... Because I've seen you wear Tsuyu cosplay, so obviously I'm not going to count that as one of those. But have you ever seen one of the main 3 or ever thought about getting into like the big shonen animes like Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and that kind of stuff?
It's not really my favorite genre of anime. I'm a huge romance anime. I'm a sucker for a good romance plot. So I don't really...
Have you ever like tried it or test the waters?
Yeah, I watched a few episodes of Naruto. People are mad at me, but like I couldn't get into it. It's the same thing with like, Bleach. I tried to watch a couple episodes of Bleach, and I was like, it's really just it couldn't keep my attention.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of people throwing around swords and stuff and yelling, "You believe it," and that kind of stuff.
Believe it.
Getting my heart broken by like romance anime. Yeah, I want my emotions to be annihilated when I watch it.
Well, if that's the case, have you seen Clannad?
Actually, no, I have not.
Oh,
me neither.
Wow! I'm surprised because like that's probably one of the top tier shows that would just destroy your emotions, especially the second season.
People I know of Clannad. People have told me like you need to watch it. I just never have gotten around to doing it. I feel like I should.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna love it so much. Well, all I have to say about that show is that season 1 of Clannad is good for character development, but it's not that sad. But once you get into season 2, oh my god, like the feels come in like, I can't even describe it.
I watched the first
ready for my
episode and
emotions
just didn't
to get
feel it.
wrecked.
Yeah. I'm very curious as to why Catback cosplay.
All right, guys, let's go back to the origin story. Catback cosplay.
Oh boy, gotta get the popcorn.
Yeah, get ready for a little cringe. Just kidding. So it all started back in like the 6th grade. I don't know why. I thought it was so cool. I was like, I'm gonna like draw these characters and like come up with like original characters, even though they're not really original. Like Catbat is not an original idea, but in 6th grade I thought it was. And I was like sitting there doodling in class, and I was like a cat next to the bat. That's pretty cool. And so it's always been like this character that I like would draw and doodle all the time. And then when I created my account, which actually I created this account back in the 8th grade, but I
went to the 80s.
Yeah, it was back when my cosplaying was like next level cringe. But when I was making it, I thought Catbat was pretty cute. It had a really nice ring to it. I thought it just, I don't know, I always liked it. So I was like, perfect. I'll just put Catbat and then cosplay. It's easy to remember because I wanted to remember my username in case I like logged out. It was back when Instagram, you had to like log out of your account to access other accounts.
That's so inconvenient.
Yeah, so I was like, I have to remember it. So like Catbat cosplay is really easy to remember. So yeah, but
and obviously it's good for other people to remember it too. That way you won't like people will remember your page because they'll remember the name because it's really simple.
True. Yeah, that's a good benefit of it.
Yeah, because I see a lot of cosplayers have like all these something cosplay 64398 or something like that, and I'm like, bruh, I don't even, how do I find you? I don't know where you are on Instagram anymore, because you just lose them unless you follow them or on that moment or something. But it's kind of cool though, because your username like kind of rhymes. And just so you know, I kind of ripped off a little bit off of that rhyming scheme with my cosplay account, which is Sick Vic Cosplay, because it kind of rhymes.
I never noticed. I didn't notice.
Yeah, so because I looked at it and it was like, wow, cat bat cosplay, like it rhymes. The first two words rhymes together, and like that sounds really catchy if you say it. So I was like, yeah, and my name is like Vic, so I was like, yeah, we'll just go with Sick Vic Cosplay.
It worked out.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue really well too. Like,
I guarantee, like 8th grade me had like the tiniest brain ever. I did not like super in depth into my username, but like now that I like have grown with my account, I'm like, I really like my username. I'm really glad I picked what I did, because like it's simple. I just like the simple. Cats are cute, bats are adorable. Combined, it's cute, and I cosplay, so it works out.
What if you did something that wasn't cosplay? Do you think you'd be like cat bat and then whatever the other thing was? Like
100%. My username
like
for everything is something
cat. Like cat bat gaming, cat bat. I don't know what else you would do. I don't pay attention to the internet.
Yeah, I would 100% do that.
Cat bat crochet.
It works, I guess. Even before I made my cosplay account, like my username for everything is catbat something. That's how I remembered things. It's easy.
Yeah, it's pretty easy and like simple to remember. So yeah,
it's cute.
Nice username. Have you ever thought about like throughout doing your cosplay stuff, or your usernames phases or whatever throughout whatever? Have you ever thought about like changing it or something?
Never. I just don't think there would be any other name that would like suit me, I guess, or like suit. I don't even know what Slushy Healy cosplay. No, I think Catbat is better. And like if someone doesn't know my name, it gives them a name to call me, kind of, because people call me Cat sometimes just because I've got Catbat. And imagine if it was like Slushy Healy cosplay, they'd be like Slushy.
Or Slush. They just call you, hey, Slush.
No.
What about like Bat Cat cosplay?
It's not the same.
I mean, it's not, but
it's backwards.
It's a bat with a cat face on it.
What if your name is backwards?
I like Catbat better. It has a nice.
It sounds better.
Yeah, it just doesn't flow. Someone once told me to get rid of the underscores, and I thought maybe about changing it to that just for inner marketer of me coming out. The SEO. So when you search for me on, if you search for a Catbat or a Catbat cosplay, I might show up now, but like kind of back then, I didn't really show up. You'd have to put the underscores in. And so I thought maybe, just to make it easier for people to find me, getting rid of it. But then I'm like, it doesn't look right.
That's interesting. Is that usually how it goes? Like if you have like some kind of weird character in between your name, you're less likely to appear on search engines and stuff?
Yeah, unless you're popular, but yeah. So like if you have like some really obscure username you might pop up easier, but like if you have like Catbat, if you Google me, I think it's just an image of cats.
A cat in bats.
Yeah, it's just a cat with bat wings. If you search that, but if you search, actually, I'm kind of scared to search Catbat cosplay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Oh.
Then you just see like New York Times or Forbes have you as a headline of Cat Black Cosplay does this.
The first thing that came up for me was Facebook. So.
Oh, Facebook. Oh, I just saw some of like my cringy posts.
Well, speaking of Facebook, so I'm assuming Instagram is your main platform that you use that you mostly focus on, like, or was that not the case like before Instagram, or I don't know, like have you tried different platforms or?
So I consider Instagram as my main platform. I do have a TikTok. I'm actually more popular on TikTok than I am on Instagram. 200K on TikTok.
I'm gonna go find your TikTok now.
It's the same as my Instagram.
Yeah, I know. I just haven't looked at it.
Okay. So I have Instagram, TikTok. I just started Twitch streaming. I do have a Facebook page. I don't really post on there as consistently. Just as Facebook. I don't really like Facebook at all. I'm like literally super duper close to just deleting the app and forgetting its existence. I need it for work, so I can't. And then I have a YouTube that I don't post on consistently, but I should.
Have you ever had doubts that Instagram, because I heard a lot of drama going, well, not exactly drama, but like really critical news that Instagram is going to like take away the like button and just overall take away the likes and stuff. Does that ever worry you? And if so, like, what platform have you thought about moving to, or have you thought about moving your content towards a different platform as a backup platform in case Instagram goes that route, or they do something drastic, then it starts dying off, kind of like Tumblr?
I'm not too worried about Instagram taking away the likes. One of my accounts actually doesn't have likes on it. So it's weird. I don't like it. I think it's kind of dumb. But I don't value myself on the number of likes I get. I just value myself on, the experience I'm having with the cosplaying and like the people I get to interact with. So, I mean, if Instagram does take away likes, I'm not going to go anywhere. It's fine. I don't really care too much, or I don't try to look too much into the amount of likes I get. I try to look into, talking to people. I'd much rather worry about like thanking people and, just chatting with them versus like freaking out about, oh, this post didn't get this many likes.
But at some point, you'll have to like accept that the number of likes determines your popularity, because if they get rid of that system where you can't like a post, or you can't even see the number of likes, only you can. But then let's say some big company or something that looked at your stuff and they don't see your like ratio or how many likes you get per post, don't you think that would be important though? Because then if they can't see your popularity, then they're less likely to give you sponsorships of any kind.
I think that they'd end up having to ask for your analytics, which, I mean, I don't mind giving. I think if a company does do that, but you're right, it does to an extent, especially if you are more popular, like you do have to consider your likes a little bit. Especially if you're trying to get sponsorships or you're trying to do paid promotions, you do have to consider that. And you can just share, like I can see the likes I get. And so, the company probably be like, hey, I just like to know the likes on your top 3 posts. And you just share it. And I guess it would just add an extra step in like the process of creating sponsorships, but I think it's still doable.
I'm surprised you haven't had a sponsorship from Ray Shadow Legends.
Nah, bruh.
I don't think they pay attention to Instagram cosplayers.
I mean, you never know.
I don't know, because I barely see any people advertising their products on Instagram. It's mostly YouTube where they're at. So
YouTube is a lot better for ads, because Instagram, you like your phone listens to and then gives you ads, while YouTube just plays ads appropriate to the video.
Yeah, it's here is marketer Chrissy speaking. So when people choose between having an influencer on Instagram versus YouTube, like do their promotion, usually they look at the audience. So with Instagram, you can do the paid promotions, which are pretty great. But the reason why YouTube is chosen more is because basically your target audience is already like set. So like, let's just say, I want to promote an anime product with you, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I will, you have an audience that's really already interested in anime. So it's pretty easy to make a promotion. Like, I know that your audience is going to be interested in my product.
Mm-hmm.
And with Instagram, it's kind of harder to do that because, yes, I cosplay, but not my audience isn't all consistently into cosplay. There might be some people who just follow me because, cute girl on internet, I guess.
Right.
So it's a little different. And that's kind of how it is for most of Instagram too.
Interesting. Because I never understood the whole Instagram platform as a whole. Not because I'm like a boomer or anything like that. Oh, come on. No, I'm not. I'm not that much of a boomer. Okay, so I might not be on TikTok, but I'm not that much. I know of it.
So
but
you have TikTok.
Okay, I only have TikTok just to take my username, so nobody takes it. Have you ever have that ever happened? Like, did you ever make an account just so you can have your username and nobody else can take it?
No, because I feel like around the time I created all my accounts, because I feel like I have an account on everything now.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't relevant in any way, shape, or form, so it was pretty easy to get my username.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So
I was just saying that's really it.
So like, I'm assuming because you have this marketing job and you're very heavily, what you're doing in terms of marketing. I'm assuming you're very analytical with all your content and platformer stuff, or are you only analytical to a certain extent?
I'm to an extent. I really try to avoid being super analytical when it comes to how my account is performing, just because I feel like if I do, it kind of puts me in this mindset that, I need to do better. I need to be big. And I mean, it can be kind of a toxic mindset to be in. And it kind of just takes the fun out of cosplaying, I guess. But at the same time, I do like making sure, my analytics are pretty consistent. I don't know. I have this inner war with myself all the time. Like, I try not to be analytical with my content, but at the same time, I'm a marketer, so that's what I do.
Right.
So like, if you get like, I don't know how many likes your post get. So you get like, a post gets like 32,000 likes. I don't know if that's a lot for you, but then another post gets like 8,000, and then like every other post that week gets like the 32,000. Would you just continue doing everything, or would you like make a point of doing less of the thing that got less likes?
No, because I try to encourage myself to not let the likes define what cosplays I do or not. I try to just factor it up. Maybe that post wasn't popular because the lighting was weird or the pose wasn't as flattering versus the other posts I did. Those ones are maybe more flattering than the other one. I try not to think too much into it, but at the same time, I think a little bit into it.
Does it ever bother you or get to you, even though you say you try not to let it get to you, but does it ever get under your skin?
Like when I first started blowing up, a lot of my posts, some of my posts would get 1,000 likes, and then some of them would get 500, 700, 800 range. And I would get so mad at myself. I'd be like, why aren't my posts doing good? They should be doing good. Why aren't they doing good? And I tried, I'd be like, oh, maybe it's because this cosplay isn't popular or whatever. But then I would post a really niche character, is it Yurika? Yurika from Soul Eater? And she do really amazing. And I'm like, why is she doing good versus my other character? And so then I realized that was a really bad mindset to be in, because I was letting my likes dictate who I cosplayed, and it wasn't having as much fun as I should have been. So I was like, okay, I need to stop thinking like this immediately and start, doing it for.
Yeah, I feel like to a certain extent, every creator faces this barrier where you come to a point where you're so big and popular that if even the slightest negative feedback or or bad performing content gets you into this depression or this mindset that you're not good enough, or that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to deal with. Like, I know there's some people that just break under that pressure and they just quit altogether. So, and to be able to not let that bother you, that's like kudos to you, Chrissy.
Thank you. It was a real struggle last year, I felt like, because when you have to adjust to suddenly having a huge platform, or like I feel like I sound so pretentious saying that, but like when you suddenly grow, like your account grows a lot,
right?
You have to learn how to adjust, but you also like experience a lot of these things, like getting a lot of attention. Like I'm definitely a person who isn't fully used to getting the amount of attention I get now, and so it was very, very weird experiencing all that. And like, I don't know, you just have to like get used to it and like try to not fall into the negativity.
Yeah, and it's just going to get way, way more worse as you get on, or as you grow, because it's unavoidable at that point because you decided to put yourself out there. So it's eventually you're gonna have to face that pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So like when it comes to cosplaying and all that kind of stuff, I know Instagram, like we were talking just earlier, we were talking about like sponsorships and stuff. So are you, I don't know if this is too personal or not, but are you able to monetize your cosplaying hobby, or how do you generally fund your cosplay, or do you just use your own money and fund yourself? Because I know for me, even though I'm not a big YouTuber or anything, like I've reached to a certain point where I do get monetized from the videos that I make. But I know Instagram and Facebook don't really, well, except for Facebook, they do that, but you have to reach a threshold. But I know Instagram, as far as I'm aware of, don't really have that kind of stuff unless you have a sponsorship. Like, are you able to monetize yourself through doing this hobby or your cosplay?
Yeah, I have two ways that I make money through cosplaying. So actually technically three ways. So the first way, before I don't lewd, but I do have an OnlyFans. I just post a lot more content on there. I do like a lot. I'm more active. I try to interact more on there, and it's just kind of like I kind of use it as a way, like if you want to help support me and help fund more cosplays, and so through that I'm able to buy a lot more cosplays.
So it's like a Patreon but you can be closer to your supporters on there.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing Patreon, but I liked how easier, like I don't have enough to offer to do tiers, I felt like, and just like have one tier, I felt like that's kind of dumb. So OnlyFans worked out better for me. And I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do this, but I am a TikTok creator, and so I have access to the creator fund. So with TikToks, I get paid per view. It's not a lot at all. It's like you get 2 to 3 cents per 1,000 view you get. So not to brag, but I've made a whole $5 off of TikTok so far.
Oh wow! Dang, someone's making bank.
Thank you. I'm so rich, but I mean, it just started too. So, like, I'm sure it'll start adding up eventually. But like, it's not a lot. But I mean, anything helps,
right?
With cosplay. The third way is
some maths there. Hold up.
It's and the third way is through sponsors, or sometimes I used to have this app called, it was the Amino app. They had like a video, they do like a TikTok, but it was like Instagram stories kind of thing. And they paid me pretty well it was like they paid me per view to post on their app for a couple of months, but then they closed their creator program. So, and now I no longer, but whenever I do get sponsorships like that, I'm able to make a little bit of money on the side. I'm really grateful because I can do that.
Do you ever get like those people that just flat out offer you like just full on PayPal transfers to your account or something like that?
I have a Ko-Fi. Is it Ko-Fi or is it coffee? I don't know.
I think it's coffee because you buy someone coffee on it.
I've always
Well, it
called
could be it could be Ko-Fi because it's like lo-fi. It's
Mhm.
K instead of an L. I don't
Right.
know.
Alright, well, I have that. And occasionally some people will donate money to me, and I'm so grateful that, people
Mhm.
are so generous. I do also have an Amazon wish list, I guess, and that's how I can make some money. Or not money, but I get some cosplays.
Mhm.
Sometimes people send me stuff.
You
Just
you don't
really-
ever get that one weird person's like, oh, here's $100,000 or something like that in your DMs. Because
I get
Mhm.
that. I get like, hey, do you want to be my sugar baby? I'll give you like 10.
I get those messages.
I think everyone does. I'm like, I'm good. I'll pass. But
Mhm.
yeah, for the most part, it's really just OnlyFans that I make money for. I still kind of do spend some of my money on cosplaying.
Mhm.
I used to give myself like a $200 budget, and
Wow.
for the month,
Mhm.
and then I get.
Wow, if you think about it, like that's not very much in terms of cosplaying material and stuff, because I know cosplaying can be super expensive.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm even lucky to have. I just want to say that I'm
Mhm.
very lucky to have a job that I can afford to do that.
Mhm.
But like now, I have a bigger budget thanks to the support of all my fans, and I'm so grateful that like now I can afford to buy more cosplays every month. It's nice.
Yeah. I'm applauding. I don't know if you can hear it.
You're applauding.
So if you're, since you're able to monetize it, whether it's through crowdfunding or OnlyFans and that kind of stuff, as you get bigger, I know for a fact that you might be able to make a substantial amount of income from doing just cosplay by itself, because I know some cosplayers out there that literally this is their full-time job. Like, would you ever consider making this a full-time job if you have the opportunity, or are you kind of cautious about that kind of stuff? Because I know that it can be kind of iffy, because you never know where this is going to go, or if it's going to end soon, or just this is going to be a long run. I don't know.
I'm kind of weary, but I've been thinking a lot about it lately, and I mean, as much as I love my 9-to-5 job, I really would love to spend more time cosplaying, and I really do like streaming too. I really enjoy it, and I want to produce more video content. And I think if the opportunity were to be like around, I would not go full time at all. I would not, because it can be kind of what's the word? Inconsistent or unreliable. That is.
Right.
So I think what I would do is I would allow myself to go part-time with marketing and go freelance and then do part-time cosplaying, but I would never let myself go full-time unless I know 100% that I would be fine. But I don't think that's going to happen for a while.
Right.
You never know.
Yeah. But that would be that's the dream, to be able to, because I hate waking up at 7 a.m. every day. I'd really like to sleep in.
No kidding. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
And 7 a.m. is like, once I go back to because I work from home right now, but once I go back to the office, I'm going to have to start waking up at 6.
Oh, God. Yeah, I know that struggle.
I hate it.
Yeah.
But, I'm just grateful to be where I am right now. And, if that opportunity does present itself, I will approach it cautiously and see if it's an opportunity I should seek.
That's good, because I've seen some like YouTubers or some other people within my community. I can't even say community, right? But within my community, that they just out of nowhere they get this fluctuation of income from this viral video that they have, and then they decide, oh well, shit, I just made like a couple $100 off of this. Forget school, forget that. I'll just do YouTube full time and try to do that, and just throw away their education or their job.
That's why I dropped out of school. It's not. I wish it was.
Yeah, it's kind of. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to just say, like, I really warn people to not do that, to be very cautious. cosplaying is very much so appearance based, and I know for a fact I'm not going to look this way forever. I'm going to start aging. I'm 21. I've got like, I don't know how many years left before I start, showing signs of aging. And
I think it's before you die. Oh,
before, yeah, I don't before I die. But, you need to prepare yourself for the days that you aren't going to be able to make as much money as you can now off of like cosplaying and things like that. And trends only last for so long too. So let's just say your video blows up and you start a trend. You're going to have to learn how to either engage your audience and build an audience off of that trend, or you're going to just have to keep your job because it's so inconsistent and can be very unreliable.
What do you think of all the kids that are growing up right now that are like 14 or 15 and they want to become a full-time cosplayer and stuff like that? What would you say to them if they aspire to be like that, or aspire to be just like you, where they can make a little? It doesn't have to be a living, but for their eyes, from their perspective, it seems like you're making a living off of doing cosplaying, maybe, but they probably just don't know the real story.
Yeah, I try to set the standard. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living. I try to talk about my job as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, especially if you're a kid and you're trying to blow up and be famous, it's a terrible idea. I can't imagine going through puberty and getting the comments I get now. Not saying that it's like all negative, but like hearing, like all the things about my body, or hearing all the weird, nasty things people DM me as a kid. I cannot imagine what that's like. And, they need to know that it's not fully a reliable job, and it's not what people make it seem.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of bad side to this job, because your job is very much so like your audience can dictate a lot of the stuff you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just try to warn them, like, it's not what you think it is. There's a lot of things you have to start worrying about, and it's sometimes, it might not even be worth it. And especially if you take criticism, like any comment that you get, and you take it really hard, it's not a good job. You don't want it.
Yeah.
And you might not make money off of it. You need to set that expectation to the younger generation. Like, people might brag about how much they're making, but they don't show you how much like debt they're in.
God, yeah, like, no kidding.
Yeah, like a lot of what are they called? Like the hype people that buy.
Oh my God, like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, those kinds of people, like the hype squad or whatever.
Yeah, what are they? There's like a word for them, but
hype beasts.
Hype beasts.
Hype beasts?
Yeah, yeah, it's hype beasts. Yeah,
that's what they call them over here when you wear like Supreme and everything.
Yeah. Oh, what? You remember Little Tay? I think that's.
Oh yeah. Of course.
And how fabricated everything. She was not a millionaire, and it just shows how easy it is to make this, like, you could be like on social media in this glamorous life, but in reality, like, you live in a 1-bedroom apartment.
I'm pretty sure there was like video footage of her mom and brother abusing her for money.
Yeah, I think her dad has custody of her now. Thank goodness. But
yeah,
it's like, I really want to set that expectation with the younger generation. Like, it's not what you think it is. You're not going to make millions and millions of dollars. It's a very saturated market too. It's a lot of people post on social media, so you have everyone as your competition, and it's competitive. And, and if you think of it as competitive, it's going to give you this like really, I'm better than everyone else mindset. And you don't want to. I just try to like, I encourage people to go chase your dreams, but at the same time, have expectations of what your dreams are going to be like, and be prepared if your dream does not work out. With me, I have like, yes, being a full-time cosplayer would be so cool. I really, that'd be fun. But, I have my marketing career too. So if anything happens with cosplaying, let's say I decide to go part-time and it doesn't work out, I can go get a full-time job as a marketer and, work as a marketer and make money through that.
Yeah. So, like, always do something realistic, because a lot of dreams aren't realistic.
I don't want it to be. This sounds so sad.
Wow,
But
that's depressing,
true. It's
Ducky.
true. For the majority of cases, if a kid wants to grow up being a creator, they aren't gonna. I mean, they can if they work hard enough and do enough. But like in a lot of cases, it's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry, kids. It's just yeah.
I guess it's best to be prepared for anything. You know?
Yeah, because I see a lot of it's based on luck too. Like that's one thing that nobody really talks about is that luck is a big part of you becoming big altogether.
Mm-hmm. So like doing the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. A lot of it is luck. And another thing that sucks is the algorithm dictates how good or bad your posts are going to do. It isn't really on you. Well, in a sense, it's on you, but also like Instagram's algorithm is going to decide how many people are going to see my post. It's not really up to me. So it's kind of like having the algorithm as your boss.
Sounds like a really bad metaphor for life.
It does.
No kidding.
The algorithm decides all. What if God is the algorithm? Oh my god.
Well, there goes my chances. So like that's a really good message, especially do you feel like there's a sense of responsibility becoming this big?
Absolutely. I think if you gain, I think anybody should do this really, but if you have any sort of following, you have some form of responsibility to your following. Like I obviously want to be, I'm trying to be as responsible as I can, and I try to encourage people as much as I can, but also, like, I don't want to encourage people to go pursue something that might not work, and they might end up screwed and living in, like, poor. They might end up poor because, they try to pursue something and then they go broke or bankrupt because of it. Like, I want to set the expectation that, you can, but have a plan.
Right.
I think, like, the word influencer, there's not enough emphasis on the word influence, or, like, they have influence over like, their fans. So, like, a lot of what the fans perceive as, like, what they say, do, what they encourage.
Yeah.
So, like, they have a lot of influence over them. So if they're like, oh, I'm doing this, so, like, if Jake Paul's like, oh, I'm painting my entire house red, because he did that apparently. Then all of his fans or some of his fans might go and paint their houses red.
Yeah.
It's sort of like monkey see, monkey do. Yeah.
It's why influencers are really good things to sponsor products with, because, like, they have a really good cult following. If an influencer's like, yeah, I drink Sprite all the time, people might go out and buy Sprite because their favorite influencer drinks Sprite.
Do you drink Sprite by any chance?
I have Sprite in my hand right now.
I'm sure that's why she said Sprite to begin with.
Product placement.
Yeah,
come on, Sprite, sponsor Chrissy.
Sponsor the podcast, Sprite. Come on.
That too. So if that's the case, when it comes to like product stuff, like, because I don't know if you're a big, or if you look into the beauty community, or because there's been a lot of drama like this past year, like in terms of product stuff. Are you ever weary of like sponsorships that ask you to sponsor this item or product and show it to your followers and stuff?
Yeah, when I first kind of got, like, I got enough followers, the company started reaching out to me. I was foolish and I accepted any sponsorship left and right. And I did promote, like, I think it's SPS Eyes and Uniqso, which they both have kind of a problematic past. And I mean, granted, Uniqso apologized for it. I'm not so sure about SPS Eyes, but I promoted those brands and I kind of regret not really looking into them. And especially when it comes to like contacts, I think it's really important to consider the reliability. Like, how reliable the company is. SPSI was like a new company at the time that I got this like sponsorship through them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of dumb for promoting them because I didn't really know a whole lot about them. But now I look into all my sponsorships, and that's why I haven't done one pretty recently, because I want to make sure when I do promote a brand, it's a good brand, and it's something that I want my followers to try because it's a good product.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last sponsorship you did?
I think it was trying to remember. I think it was a hoodie from this. He just made this like hoodie shop, and it was like this aqua, but it was like, it said aqua, but it had her hair as one of the letters or something. It was really cool design, and I wanted to promote it because it was like a new shop and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great hoodie. I still wear that hoodie every single day.
Did you wear it with your Aqua cosplay?
Yeah. I have a photo of it. I think I have a photo of it on my Instagram somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great hoodie, and he has a Megumin one too. It's great.
just ask for that so you can use your Megumin cosplay as well.
Yeah.
So, is there any, since you're this big, is there anybody like that's almost on equal par or even bigger than you that you want to collaborate? Because I don't know how does collaboration work in the cosplay community? Because I'm always like, I don't know. That's always confusing. Like, yeah, I guess you would just cosplay the same anime or something like that. But like, is there anybody in particular that you would want to collaborate with in terms of cosplaying and stuff?
Absolutely. I have a list of dream cosplay groups with people. Oh, sorry, I smacked my desk.
That passionate about it.
I'm that passionate. So the first one is Rain Emery. Mm-hmm. I would absolutely love to cosplay with her. I talked about her earlier. She's just so talented, and the passion she puts into her cosplays is just spectacular. But to answer your first question, usually when you collaborate with a different cosplayer, usually you designate time, usually outside of cons, and you get a photographer and you do like a shoot. The next person I'm going to talk about is someone that we had plans to do things at ASIN, and then it got ruined, which is Pocky Thief. Me and her were going to do a whole bunch of really cool My Hero Academia cosplays together. Like, we decided we were going to do this another weekend, and we were going to spend like 3 or 4 days. I was going to take days off of work. I was so excited for this. And we were going to just do like a whole bunch of cosplays, and of course, the virus happened. I don't know if I should say.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
COVID happened, and then we just haven't been able to reschedule because we don't want to risk traveling right now.
Oh, but yeah, for sure.
For sure, me and Pocky Thief are going to collaborate, but I have her on my list because I'm just so excited to collaborate with her. She's a very talented cosplayer. And the other one is It's Candy Cloud. I absolutely love her cosplay. She's adorable. And hopefully one day we can cosplay together. And then the other one's the Juvie and Nyx project. I talked about it earlier, but they're so talented, and I would love to do like a cosplay with them. Like, it could be whatever. They could choose it, and I would be totally down to do it. And then Melon Desu, I love her cosplay. She's adorable, and I would absolutely love to cosplay with her. Yeah, that's my list.
Like, when cosplayers cosplay in groups like that, or if you're on this level where you're a well-known cosplayer in the community, how do you decide who's going to take the pictures? Do you guys put in the money together to hire a photographer, or do you just ask somebody, a friend or somebody, unexperienced photographer to take your pictures, or how does that work?
It really varies. Usually the cosplayer has a designated photographer they like. Like, I have my photographer. I know Rain Emery has a photographer. Juvie and Nyx project, they take their own photos, but like, usually if the cosplayer has like someone they have set that they want, so it's pretty easy to find like the photographer. Like, normally you just go like, who's going to be in what area? Like, are you going to come to me, or am I going to come to you? Okay, if I'm going to you, then let's use your photographer. If you're coming to me, we'll use my photographer. So that's usually how it goes.
How do you decide who goes where? Do you play rock, paper, scissors, or do you just like, I don't know,
Well, usually it goes, I live in Indiana. I don't have a whole lot of really good photo locations.
Just cornfields.
Cornfields, we could go Speedway, take photos there, the gas station.
Mhm.
But normally it goes, they have a lot of, all these people live in really cool locations, so I normally go to them.
Mhm. Have you ever been like invited to like to go to somewhere else to take a photo shoot in terms of, like they would pay for your plane tickets or that kind of stuff?
Wait, you skipped out a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Have you ever been reached out by another cosplayer where they offer like, oh, I'll pay for your plane tickets and stuff for you to come to California to do a photo shoot with me or that kind of stuff?
No, I've not. I've had a brand reach out to me to take photos in their booth, though, if that counts. I don't know.
Yeah, that counts. I'd say that counts.
They didn't pay for me to go anywhere, but they were like, it was Epic Cosplay Wigs. They did a collaboration.
It's a great company name.
It is pretty epic. They did a collaboration with Crunchyroll and made the officially licensed Konosuba wigs.
Mm-hmm.
So I got sent the Aqua wig, and so we had to do like this photo shoot where we went to like 4 different locations. It was fun.
That's really cool. I'm assuming like later in the future, once you get to that point, you probably will get like cons asking you to be a guest or that kind of stuff. Or have you ever been asked to be a guest?
I can't talk about it too much, but there's some con coming soon. I'm excited. I'm really excited because like I've always wanted to guest at a con.
Mm-hmm.
And
wait, Jay, didn't you ask her to be a guest on this, or did she show up?
Yeah, I asked her.
Okay, so she has been asked to be a guest before.
Well, I mean, anime conventions, because this is a podcast.
No, I just showed up to this podcast. I thought so.
Oh, yeah, she just came out of nowhere. Like, oh, hey, let's do a podcast.
What's going on again? But yeah, anime cons. I'm really excited, but I don't know if they're going to happen next year or not, because, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I do. Yeah, I hope they happen.
Yeah, I hope ASIN happens.
Oh, yeah. God. I don't know, man. Like, at this rate, I feel like it's very, very unlikely that ASIN's going to happen.
I do agree. I really think it'll be probably 2022.
Yes, sadly.
A con like that could happen. Yeah.
Or at least like late into 2021.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's my guess, is like all the early conventions are going to end up being canceled, but then like the ones later in the year, like the smaller ones will be fine. But
yeah. I'm not, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not in too big of a rush to go to cons, but like I'd like to go to at least one next year.
Right. to be bathed in the atmosphere of weebs and anime and stuff.
And that nice con stink.
Oh my god, yeah.
I don't know what that stink is.
Oh, you're very lucky you don't know what that smell is. It's gross.
Yeah, it can get really, really bad, especially when ASIN, like everybody's going through that little tunnel, and man,
the rave smelled so bad. Imagine like the smell of somebody who hasn't worn deodorant for like maybe 5 months, but like multiple 400 people. That's what the rave smelled like.
Dang. Makes me kind of glad that I missed the rave when I went to ASIN last year.
Yeah, I guess you dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Did I go to the rave last year? Was it? No, I didn't. I didn't get to really enjoy ASIN last year.
Yeah, for unspoken reasons. So.
Yeah, unspoken reasons.
So so is there any like top tier cosplays that you absolutely love doing? I'm assuming it'd be 02, right?
Yeah, you guessed right.
Yeah. Yeah.
02, hands down. She's my favorite.
What would be your second favorite then?
Oh. Excellent question. I think Lucy from Fairy Tail. I think I really had a lot of fun cosplaying her.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I suited her character pretty well, which is pretty nice.
I believe.
The
go
costume.
ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was going to say like the costume. Like I felt like I suited that pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that like a really recent cosplay you just started?
Yeah, I did it last week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Last week or the week before. The weeks meld together. I don't leave my apartment that much, so.
Oof. Yeah, I feel that.
Well, at least you know how she's coping with COVID anyway.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you've been watching Fairy Tail then.
Yeah, I'm not super caught up,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm watching it. So it's a lot. There's a lot of episodes.
Oh my god, yeah, no kidding. I think there's like 200 plus now, so I don't know, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I need to Google this now. Fairy Tail.
Hey Siri, how many episodes does Fairy Tail have?
Okay, you know what?
I'm not sure how many episodes there are.
Thanks, Siri. Useful.
Good job. Yeah.
So I'm assuming, based on what you said earlier, that your most expensive cosplay would be your Hetalia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, how did that go? Like, you getting all that together?
It was really fun. Chris helped me out a lot because he's really good at making, so he helped me out a lot in understanding the different techniques I need to use to make it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't sleep for like 3 or 4 days, and
oh dang,
contact cement.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, does that make your brain feel funny. But
did you do that all inside, or did you like?
We had like a crafting room because
Mm-hmm.
that's back when I like lived at a house, and the crafting room had like a fan, and we had the windows open, but still, like, you know, the fumes are pretty strong when you have a lot of things being cemented together.
Right. Is this cosplay the same cosplay that, or is this cosplay the most time consuming one that you've ever been, or you ever done, or is there another cosplay that took you so long to make?
So I'm a huge fan of the con crunch, apparently, or at least my subconscious self likes to procrastinate making cosplays until the last week. So good majority of my cosplays only took like less than a week to make.
Mm-hmm.
My fastest being 24 hours, which was Azula, and then Graftalia being the longest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, how do you deal with cosplay or con crunches stuff?
It sounds like a good cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just, how do you deal with it? You just first, you panic. You accept the fact that you procrastinated so hard that you have to make like 4 or 5 costumes in like 3 to 4 or 5 days. So, and then you just do it, and that's all you do. You don't sleep. Well, I sleep. I don't sleep. I can't function without it. But you sleep like 3 to 4 to 5 hours. Then you get back to work. That's all you do all day. You sleep again, and rinse and repeat until it's done.
And then a cosplay magically appears in your suitcase for the con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I should probably start doing that then.
Oh my gosh. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's a lie, Jay. It doesn't work.
It's like running a marathon, but like you don't get out of breath, but your body still like hurts from it.
Like, how often does that happen to you?
Almost every con.
Oh, you would say that.
Man.
I knew you would say that.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do all these cosplays, and then like I don't forget, but like I know I need to do it, but I like to put it off, and then I'm like, oh shoot, the con's like this week, gotta do it every time.
Oh man, dude, that must be stressful.
Yeah, but then it's worth it at the end when the cosplay's done.
Does it ever reach a point where it kind of starts slowly falling apart because you kind of rushed it?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too good. Just kidding.
too good. MLG good.
Goes God mode.
Cosplay went down the drain. I procrastinated that one a little too hard.
Oof.
But yeah.
So you live stream on Twitch?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite game to stream?
Oh,
Is it Animal Crossing?
Yeah. Well, I'm so new. I'm so new to streaming though, but not to brag. This is my bragging moment, okay? But I have
go for
over 100 hours in Animal Crossing, and I'm proud of that. I put a lot of work into
I don't know how long I have in Animal Crossing. I haven't touched it for months.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I play it a lot. I love it.
I went to your island once, and it was very nice.
Thank you. I redid it, but thank you. Yeah, but I actually liked playing Fall Guys on stream. I played that yesterday, actually. It was really fun. And then tomorrow I'm doing Jackbox. I'm playing that game.
Oh, that's a pretty good for engagement.
It is. It's a good game to
I'm really excited. I love that game. I remember one time I guess I stream sniped you, Vic.
Oh, isn't that one time when everybody just gathered around the TV and they sent me a picture?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, that was so embarrassing.
For you. At the time, I thought it was like, I was like, oh yeah, we're playing. But then now that I look back, I'm like, oh, I feel so bad that we did that to you. But it was fun in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really fun game, especially when you're getting more people in your audience to be more engaged with you. It's a great game to play.
Yeah. I think...
oh, yeah. What were you saying?
We've done Jackbox a few times. Like, Jay streamed it when we've been, like we've been in VC while he's been playing it, and it's good. Because, like, if it's just one person talking on the stream, then you've just got one person, like, giving their sort of reactions to the game. But multiple reactions are always fun.
Yeah, I'm still so new to streaming. I'm like, so far I've only had like me on my channel, but I'm also kind of new to gaming too. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting into it because, you know, I come from a very like religious conservative family, and my parents were very like, you know, you can only kill people so many times in video games, and would only let me play like some Nintendo games in Minecraft. So now that I'm old enough and I have a PC, I can play whatever I want. So that's I'm excited because I'm gonna first time a lot of games on my stream. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for that.
So how come you decided to stream? Is this something you've always had on your mind to do, or is this just something somebody just suggested? Oh, you should stream.
It's been something I've always wanted to do. I live stream a lot on Instagram. I used to do it like back when I first started. I used to live stream like almost every other day. I don't know. I just really like talking to people live. Maybe it's because I have no life and like talking to people. But it's just something that I always thought looked like tons of fun, and like now that I'm doing it is a lot of fun, and I'm glad I'm doing it.
Like, if that ever gets off the ground, like if you ever find yourself in a position where, yeah, your Twitch is becoming way more popular than your cosplaying stuff, would you allot a lot of your time to streaming rather than cosplaying and your Instagram stuff?
Well, I cosplay for my streams, so I'm gonna just let, like, if that takes off, it's because part of it's due to the character in cosplay. So I feel like I intertwined it so it ties together, so I can make sure that I can still do what I like and stream at the same time.
So you can do what you like and do what you like at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, it's
genius.
That's pretty interesting, because I rarely, if at all, I don't think I've seen anybody on Twitch like cosplay while playing a game and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Part of me is just like, I feel too awkward if it was just like out of cosplay and I'm just streaming these games. So I was like, I don't think I can I was like, I don't feel comfortable really just like normally playing video games. So I was like, I feel like cosplaying kind of like spices things up a little bit, you know? Don't expect it. So yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's like a nice little sort of unique thing to add to the stream.
Yeah. Couldn't figure out how to incorporate my Heelys, so I went to cosplay.
Whenever you start a stream, you Heely on like in a view, and then you Heely out of the room when you end the stream. But the problem with that is you have to sneak back in to stop the stream.
That'd be funny.
That'd be awesome.
Heelys are loud too, so you'd hear me like kind of like clomp up.
Like, what's the next, aside from Jackbox games, like, what's a game that you really wanted to play?
I've really wanted to play any Legend of Zelda games, so I think I'm going to stream that. The new, oh gosh, I'm so excited for this. Pikmin 3 just got announced for the Switch. Like, I'm so excited for that, and I'm going to replay it because I love Pikmin so much. I'm nervous for this because I'm gonna get like roasted and flamed, but I might play League in the future on my stream. But because that's like a game I do like playing League, but I'm not like super serious about it. But people who play League take the game like you got to be perfect. Or, and so I feel like I'm not ready for that mindset, but like. I would like to stream League because I do like playing the game, but
one day you will be like a hardcore League player where you'll have your like multi-$1,000 PC set up, three monitors, you'll have 6 empty Red Bull cans on your desk, and then when you lose a game you just smash a can against your forehead.
Catch me at Worlds. Oh, just kidding. I'm not good at games. That's like the one expectation.
Me neither.
Set.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm terrible. Expect me to lose every round. I suck at Fall Guys so much, but I have fun playing it still.
That's what counts.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself anyway.
I would say, it's bots, it's okay.
All right, so do you have, since you just started streaming and all that kind of stuff, which is very recently new for you, do you have any other plans for or future projects that you can announce?
So I'm definitely gonna try to focus more on video content. So I'm gonna try posting maybe on YouTube. I posted like one video back in February, and I was like, guys, don't worry, I'll start posting consistently.
Yeah.
It's been months since I've posted, so I'd like to focus on more video content because I've always been like, I like photos and everything, but I've always been more into video content myself. Obviously, expect cosplays all the time, every day. It's never going to change. I definitely would like to collaborate more with cosplayers, but it's kind of hard to do that right now.
Right, sure.
Trying to think like what other big projects I have. I feel like streaming was like one of my big projects I've been working on for a while, and now that it's done, it's
got to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, what to do next? But yeah. One thing that I'm going to do is I've seen a lot of Twitch streamers make highlights of their weeks. So I'm going to post that on my YouTube. Like, because I have a lot of big brain moments where I make few decisions. And I'm posting that on my YouTube because it's kind of funny. But, yeah. So I guess that's like all I have, like really in the works. I mean, I cosplay a lot, so that's kind of like my big project all the time is just like, what cosplay am I gonna do? I used to post dance covers kind of like for fun and whatever, but then people started writing me like paragraphs and paragraphs of like criticism and like really negative stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna learn the dance more and I'm gonna practice more and be better. So, yeah. So I've been practicing pretty hard for these dances that I'm going to post.
I can't wait to see them. I'm sure a lot of your fans are going to be pretty hyped about that.
Mm.
They like my dance cover, so I hope.
Thank you so much, Chrissy, for coming onto the podcast. I feel like me and Ducky have a better understanding of what cosplaying is all about with all the insight you've given us. Is there anything you would like to like plug in, like your social media, where we can follow you, that kind of stuff?
You can follow me pretty much on every platform. I'm cat_cosplay. I know my username. Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Yeah.
I learned that Chrissy isn't the person I thought she was. I don't know if that's a good. Okay, so
what like, I'm curious now.
I was scared of you.
Oh, were? Am I intimidating?
like even though we've spoken about like Ace and that before, I was really scared of like talking to you mainly because you're popular. It's I was like that with Jay at first as well, but now he's like my best friend.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people feel like, but guys, I want you to know that I'm not intimidating at all. I'd like friends. Feel free to talk to me. Yeah, I'm not scary.
Yeah.
Despite my if you say so.
What? Am I scary?
Sometimes.
How am I scary?
You're intimidating. We're just in a loop now.
Okay. First, I'm not scary. Now I am scary.
Nah, I'm sure once people listen to this podcast, they're gonna think you're awesome, Chrissy. So I don't think you're gonna be intimidating anymore.
So, guys, me and Jay have a great announcement to make. We're on Spotify now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right.
So you guys should follow us on Spotify. You know, get new episodes as they come out on Spotify and YouTube and possibly SoundCloud. I don't know. Is it still on SoundCloud? I don't know. Anyway, if you want to listen to it on the go, we're on Spotify. We do new episodes every week with a new guest. Yeah,
make sure to follow us on social media and all that cool junk as always. And
my Instagram is the Lucky Duelist.
And mine's JadenD0, and Chrissy is obviously Cat Cosplay.
Cat _bat _cosplay.
Yeah, can't forget the underscores too. So, but yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you especially Chrissy for being an awesome guest on the Anipop Podcast.
I'm happy to be here. I had a lot of fun, so thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you.
Wow. Oh, here we go. All right, guys. I guess I'll see you guys next week for episode 6. And peace.
Bye.